Okay, so we are back. And thank you, Sister Marissa. Very wonderful presentation. I love it. I know we had some technical difficulties there, but that's how the enemy works. He doesn't want this information out there. And a lot of those points is the reason I believe that this is the true calendar. It fits with all the scriptures. It fits with the witnesses and the luminaries. And it fits with all the information that the sons of Zadok kept in the Dead Sea Scrolls as well. And yeah, no, I appreciate all the time and effort that went into that. Very good.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through the chat here and wanted to say thank you to Kelly for posting his pictures. He put from my office map when I was talking about the solstices. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, and yeah, Tracy. So the question is, I don't want to ask a dumb question, and there's no dumb question, sister. The only dumb question is the one not asked. So no questions are dumb here. So, but when measuring the straight line shadow, do I get a straight surface in full sun and wait for a shadow to arise with a stick standing straight up? Yeah, so I know in our library group we have a few videos. Let me see if I can grab them and forward them, or if somebody else would be able to do that. I think they are in calendar tab here. Sorry. Yeah, they are. Okay. So this is how we tracked it. Me personally, myself, at the head of the year. So what you want to do, you want to get in an area where you can see where the sun rises and the sun is going down, and that you're not too close to any trees or buildings and things like that. And from sunrise to sundown, probably I'd say about every 30 minutes or so, you want to go out there and on that the gnomon or the stick, the nail is what I used. You want to mark the very edge of that nail with a dot throughout the day, like every 30 minutes. And by the end of the day, if you put a straight edge up to it, kind of like I got in there, like you should be able to see all the dots, like lining right up with that straight edge. The day before, you can see where the dots dip down, and then the day after, you can see where they curve the other way. So it's literally only on that day that you'll see those dots line up straight, exactly like that.
It's
I know.
really similar to plotting points. I had never seen them do it until this year, and it was super cool. We got to watch Jeremy plot the points and all the guys over there over at Marissa's house. And really what it reminded me of was being in geometry class and plotting points, on a graph. And, the one straight line day, like he said, is the only day that's a straight line day. And the other ones slightly curve out. So you see the difference.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, no, it was awesome getting together at the head of the year to track it all together. So yeah, it's not very difficult to do at all, honestly. Really, that
Oh,
video. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I'm so thick-headed. I got to get this straight. There's something. Marissa, did you say that the equinox was not the fourth day of the week?
Correct.
Okay, then when is the fourth day?
The next day.
Which would be the fifth? I
Um,
mean, on our count this year, we've got the equinox on the 21st of the Gregorian calendar. Is that correct?
it was on the 20th, so then the 21st is day 1, month 1, day 4 of the week.
Oh, I've got it wrong then. I've got it on the 21st. I don't know why.
Well, the equinox was on the 20th, and then that's our great sign to start our year again the next day.
Okay, so you were going by actually going by Israel time, because it was 4:45 in p.m. in Israel on the 20th of March, which would make it nighttime on the east coast of the United States, about 5-6 hours away.
Okay.
So would it not be the 21st in the east coast of the United States if that's the case?
No, because it's when you actually visually see that straight line shadow, which happened on the 20th here.
Okay,
That's
that's
one
what I
part that
was
was
thinking.
confusing. I'm sorry to interrupt. That was one part that was confusing for me as well, was using the straight line day and equinox interchangeably, because it's not just, we can't just say, oh, it just happens on the equinox. We have to visually see that straight line day and then count from that day.
I mean, they're the
Okay,
same thing. They
so
are
what
the
it
same
was though,
day.
you did see the straight line on the 20th.
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't get a good accurate measurement myself. So okay, that
Yeah.
kind of clears it up, because now now we do have day 1 and day 4 on the equinox. Is that correct?
No,
Day one,
it's the
first
next day,
first.
Dwayne.
Wait a minute. First day of the year. Is on the next day,
Yes. Yeah.
which would be
They
the okay. That would be the 21st.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got it straight now.
Awesome.
Next year, I plan on being in a position where I can be in an area that I can get an accurate reading. I'm in the mountains here, and I've got trees and mountains, everything in the way, so I couldn't be sure.
Yeah, yeah, no worries, brother. So yeah, and I see your question there, Angel, as well. So yeah, the straight that's what we used to previously believe, is that the straight line shadow was marking, day 1 of month 1. But this is what Marissa is showing, that the straight line shadow is actually marking the divider day. So yes, uh, what was it, 2019 or a couple years ago, it was on the 19th. It was observed on the 19th. And like Marissa was explaining with the leap year, so the Gregorian leap year is not the same as the true leap year. So those dates will kind of be thrown off a little bit. So yes, this last year, not the one we just had, but the one prior, it was tracked on the 19th. This year we tracked it on the 20th, and that is because of that true leap year. And so with the witnesses of the moon and the things like that, that's where we saw that, it's the straight line shadow that's actually tracking the next day as the head of the month. And, like in 1 Samuel 20, David and Jonathan are meeting, and David's like, see, tomorrow is the head of the month. But what's he saying, see? How does he know tomorrow's the head of the month? Is he looking at the straight line shadow, perhaps? That's what I believe that they were doing. So it's marking that divider day. the 0 day, the beginning and the end. I hope that makes sense. Um, all those numbers, Marissa would probably be better equipped to verify.
Yeah, Angel, I see your the thing that you wrote right there. I don't know if those dates are from Stellarium or if they're from like time and date website or if those were things that you visually tracked yourself. Okay, cool. Yeah, we found that on Stellarium you have to toggle the atmosphere on, I believe is what it was, so that we could see the true equinox in each area. But honestly, like it's like, well, like that's like a man-made device, right? So that is why I firmly believe it's so important that we all track the equinox for ourselves. And I know that that is something Jeremy and I plan on doing every year for our fellowship group out here in Missouri, so that we will have some concrete data because now we understand the way Yah's calendar works is he's that Aleph and Tav. He's the beginning and the end. He's the Sinistamai that holds the years together and divides them simultaneously. And so the next day will be day 1, month 1, day 4 of the week, no matter where you are and whatever the date is. You just have to track it where you are so you can know.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, wherever you are, it's best to track it. So like out here in Phoenix, I would have the same dates as like the rest of the US. But if you track it out in like Australia, for example, you're actually going to see it on the 21st versus the 20th. And that's because of that Gregorian deception. You know, they say Australia's first when it comes to the date line. They're actually last. And yeah, it's also that importance of the north because Enoch was taken up to, Mount Zion right there, looking from Yahuwah's position. So that equal day and equal night was when that sun half up on the horizon and half below it. Then that next day, it's fully above the horizon.
Yep. Yeah, with the sun traversing northward.
Yeah. So like, for example, because the sun has just been in the south, so the north will have like, you will see like some light, but you're not going to see the orb of the sun. It's going to be just below the horizon the whole time. So you'll see some light and things like that, and not very much at times for 6 months out of the year. Then when the sun starts traversing northward through the gates. As it comes north, you'll start to see the sun more and more. And then on the last day of the year, that's when you'll see the sun halfway above the horizon, like circling around. The day after that, it's going to be even more. And this is directly in the north, if that makes sense. So like how boats, you see them go off and, go below the horizon, like a similar type of deal, just with the sun. And yeah, it's really simple to track it. Like I even did the stick and rock method to just show everybody how easy it really is. It's a lot more accurate with like if you have a board and you can like put pin dots and things like that. But truly rocks and sticks work too.
I'm just reading through this chat like from while the presentation was going because I couldn't see the chat the whole time. I I love so much you guys added the spirograph and the pictures of the patterns and the Mandelbrot and the Fibonacci sequence and all that. I love it. That is so awesome. Thank you guys for like backing up the things I was saying and adding that in there.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, I did want to play that Fibonacci sequence video, the fingerprint of Yahuah, because, it's important to all of this. Yeah, spirographs were really cool, 100%. I used to
Yeah.
have a set myself. Actually, Callan does have a set. Start busting those out and using them.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any more questions before Jeremy plays that video?
Yeah, hopefully it will play with all these technical difficulties. But I'm also I'm already working on editing together the two videos. Oh, three now, actually. It's all good. You bought the original spirograph back in the day. That's awesome, Jennifer. Yeah, no, thank you, Sister Marissa. It was a great presentation.
And also thank you, Natalie, for your wonderful graphics.
Yes, exactly. Natty as well. So yeah. No, yeah, screenshot away, brother. All right. So yeah, if nobody has any other questions or anything, let me see if I can get this video to play without any technical difficulties. Give me one moment here.
I definitely need to share this presentation today with James. It's going to answer all his questions. He still
Yeah.
struggles with the 31st day of the end of the year, and then I tried explaining it to him, but there's just still certain things he's not understanding. So as soon as this fellowship call and presentation is shared in the chat, I'm going to send it to him. He actually said that he was going to ask you questions when we last met with you at your house, Marissa. I guess he never got around to asking you some of the questions that he had about the 31st and the going into the first of the year and the days. And I even forgot
Yeah.
how he asked it. Did he talk to
Yeah,
you?
no, he didn't ask me at all. But no, I think sending him the presentation would be really good and he might really enjoy that.
I
And then
believe he will. Mm-hmm.
well, and then like when people watch it, they'll be able to like pause it and rewind it and be like, wait, did I catch
Exactly.
that right? Let me listen to that again. And I tried to go slow, guys, and I realized I'm like, like I don't know if this is like too complicated, but then I also like didn't want to beat a dead horse like I felt like I did on some topics. And so, I'm like, I don't know, I'm just gonna have to trust and believe.
No, and like you said, and that's the beauty of technology. We can stop it and we can go back and listen to it again and listen to it again. It's like, am I understanding this correctly? No, that's the beauty of technology. I'm thankful for. Praise Yah. And thank you again, Marissa and Natalie, and all that was involved in helping you with this presentation. It just gets better and better. Praise Yah. Thank you.
All praise to the Most High Yahuwah. Yeah, thank you, Sister Marissa. Appreciate it. Sister Natalie. Very important and very appreciative. So let me share my screen. And so this is that video. It's the fingerprint of Yahuah. And really quick, before I push play, let me copy the link and share it in the chat for everybody. I shared it earlier, but I'll go ahead and share it again. And this will all connect to the calendar as well, and everything Marissa was talking about and showing us. You know, if you don't know about the Fibonacci sequence and things like that, you're gonna know. But there's the link to the video. I'll go ahead and play it. And yeah, it's only, what is it, like 22 minutes long. So yeah, very fascinating stuff.
Hey, Max. Lenny Meyer. Sorry, put it out. So, what do you do?
I work with computers, math,
Math? What kind of math?
number theory, research mostly.
No way, I work with numbers myself. I mean, not traditional. I work with the Torah. Amazing! You know, Hebrew's all math. It's all numbers. You know that? Yeah, look. The ancient Jews used Hebrew as their numerical system, man. Each letter's a number. Like the Hebrew A, Aleph, 1. B, Bet, it's 2. You understand? But look at this. The numbers are interrelated. Like, take the Hebrew word for father. Av, Aleph, Bet. 1, 2 equals 3. All right? Hebrew word for mother, Aim, Aleph, Mem. 1, 40 equals 41. Sum of 3 and 41, 44. All right? Now, Hebrew word for child. All right? Mother, father, child. Yelad. That's 10, 30, and 4. 44. Torah is just a long string of numbers. Some say that it's a code sent to us from God.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's just kid stuff. Check this out, okay? The word for the Garden of Eden, Kedem. Numerical translation, 144. Now, the value of tree of knowledge, all right, in the garden, right? Eitz HaChaim, 233. 144, 233. And you can take those
Fibonacci
numbers. So
You know, like the Fibonacci sequence.
Fibonacci.
Fibonacci is an Italian mathematician in the 13th century. If you divide 144 into 233, the result approaches theta.
Theta?
Theta. The Greek symbol for golden ratio, golden spiral.
Wow. I never saw that before. That's like that series you find in nature? Like the face of a sunflower?
Wherever the spirals.
You see this math everywhere.
Say you're me and you're in math class and your teacher's talking about, well, who knows what your teacher's talking about. Probably a good time to start doodling, and you're feeling spirally today, so yeah. Oh, and because of overcrowding in your school, your math class is taking place in greenhouse number 3. Plants. Anyway, you've decided there's 3 basic types of spirals. There's the kind where as you spiral out you keep the same distance, or you could start big but make it tighter and tighter as you go around, in which case the spiral ends. Or you could start tight but make the spiral bigger as you go out. The first kind is good if you really want to fill up a page with lines, or if you want to draw curled up snakes. You can start with a wonky shape to spiral around, but you've noticed that as you spiral out it gets rounder and rounder. Probably something to do with how the ratio between 2 different numbers approaches one as you repeatedly add the same number to both, but you can bring the wonk back by exaggerating the bumps and it gets all optical illusion-y. Anyway, you're not sure what the second kind of spiral is good for, but I guess it's a good way to draw snuggled up slug cats, which are a species you've invented just to keep this kind of spiral from feeling useless. This third spiral, however, is good for all sorts of things. You could draw a snail or a nautilus shell, an elephant with a curled up trunk, the horns of a sheep, a fern frond, a cochlea, and an inner ear diagram, an ear itself. Those other spirals can't help but be jealous of this clearly superior kind of spiral. Better draw more slug cats. Here's one way to draw a really perfect spiral. Start with one square and draw another next to it that is the same height. Make the next square fit next to both together, that is, each side is length 2. The next square has length 3. The entire outside shape will always be a rectangle. Keep spiraling around, adding bigger and bigger squares. This one has side length 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and now 21. Once you do that, you can add a curve going through each square, arcing from one corner to the opposite corner. Resist the urge to zip quickly across the diagonal if you want a nice smooth spiral. Have you ever looked at the spirally pattern on a pine cone and thought, hey, sure are spirals on this pine cone? I don't know why there's pine cones in your greenhouse. Maybe the greenhouse is in a forest. Anyway, there's spirals, and there's not just one either. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 going this way, or you could look at the spirals going the other way, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Look familiar? 8 and 13 are both numbers in the Fibonacci series. That's the one where you start by adding 1 and 1 to get 2, then 1 and 2 to get 3, 2 and 3 to get 5, 3 plus 5 is 8, 5 plus 8 is 13, and so on. Some people think that instead of starting with 1 plus 1, you should start with 0 and 1. 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, and it continues on the same way as starting with 1 and 1. Or I guess you could start with 1 plus 0, and that would work too. Or why not go back one more to -1, and so on. Anyway, if you're into the Fibonacci series, you probably have a bunch memorized. I mean, you've got to know 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. Finish off the single digits with 8, and ooh, 13, how spooky. And once you're memorizing double digits, you might as well know 21, 34, 55, 89, so that whenever someone turns a Fibonacci number, you can say, happy Fib birthday. And then, isn't it interesting that 144, 233, 377, but 610 breaks that pattern, so you'd better know that one too. And oh my goodness, 987 is a neat number, and well, you see how these things get out of hand. Anyway, 'tis the season for decorative scented pine cones, and if you're putting glitter glue spirals on your pine cones during math class, you might notice that the number of spirals are 5 and 8, or 3 and 5, or 3 and 5 again, 5 and 8. This one was 8 and 13, and one Fibonacci pine cone is one thing, but all of them? What is up with that? This pine cone has this wumpy, weird part. Maybe that messes it up. Let's count the top. 5 and 8. Now let's check out the bottom. 8 and 13. If you wanted to draw a mathematically realistic pine cone, you might start by drawing 5 spirals one way and 8 going the other. I'm going to mark out starting and ending points for my spirals first as a guide, and then draw the arms, 8 one way and 5 the other.
There's a conspiracy to hide this information that DNA is a Fibonacci, is an exemplification of a ratio sequence called the golden ratio, the ratio that proves the existence of intelligent design, or the reality of intelligent design of the cosmos. I mean, if you go to the golden ratio site for Wikipedia too on the same theme, they don't mention any of this stuff in nature that we're going to talk about here, that we talked about on the show 2 days ago, and that we're talking about here. They talk about how it's found in architecture and math and all this kind of stuff. They don't discuss it how it's found in the measurements of the human arm. Why not? It's just, I mean, well, I think I'm making, that's the point here. I think that just made sense to me, thinking this through as I say it to you. It has to be a conspiracy. How could all this be overlooked, and how could Wikipedia leave it out? It can't be. It has to be somehow that big money has pushed their influence somehow, and they've had a drive to keep this covered up or something. These can't all be coincidences, and since they're doing that with everything else, it has to be the case that there's some movement to keep this stifled. I mean, why isn't? Here's another piece to add to this. Why isn't this in our education system? We learn all this junk geometry pea brain stuff when geometry in high school, and they don't teach you about any of this, the golden ratio everywhere. And I went to elementary school, high school, on college, and never was in university. The money behind so this is Paul, okay? And you just wonder, I mean, won't include in your mind that David and number one with strange measures which don't correlate at all.
Telegram. One.
You're breaking up too, Jeremy.
Can you hear me now?
I think so.
Okay. Let's see if we can do this again and get through it. The enemy is fighting hard today. All right. So hopefully this works. Hopefully it won't stop, or hopefully it won't break up. And let's try it again.
These examples from academic sites I'm finding, I'm putting them all, pictures of the screenshots in the newsletter. It's got to be a conspiracy. I mean, we could keep going compiling the evidence; it would just all lead to it. So, and if we could keep compiling evidence of it being a conspiracy, I mean, everything points towards it. I'm just throwing ideas off the top of my head. These strange sites show up at the top. Wikipedia is wrong. It's covered up completely in the best-selling books about the golden ratio, which come from wealthy university professors. It's the universities and the government-controlled education system absolutely covers it up. You see how, I mean, everything's falling in the same direction. You know, so when everything, all these conclusions point to the same direction, that it's covered up and hidden.
Stars, the hosts of heaven, God's creation, the ones, each star has its name, as it says in the scripture. God says, I have named them all. These are the eyes. These are the eyes on the wheels. Our stars. I just can't help but to quote from Isaiah 40:26. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power, not one faileth. This is what people have been missing this whole time, and it's been right in front of our faces in the scripture. This is what God was showing Ezekiel. The wheels within the wheels are the belts that surround Earth. NASA calls them the Van Allen belts. These are the invisible belts of magnetic energy within the torus that keep everything in motion, everything moving like a fine-tuned clock. All the eyes that Ezekiel saw was the stars. All the stars are created by God. They are the luminaries. That is what makes up all the eyes that is being spoken of. What Ezekiel saw was the absolute pure beauty of our home that God created for us. This is what Satan wants you blinded to. This is the absolute magnificence that Satan doesn't want you to see. This is why they mockingly show you that image in Game of Thrones and other movies, the wheels within the wheels over the flat plain earth. They're showing you the truth right in front of your face, and they laugh because you don't understand and you don't see. This is the beauty. This is the sheer absolute beauty of the world that God created, and he called it good. Now that you have eyes to see and ears to hear, now let me tell you this. These wheels that we see, these bands that move like a clock, this is how the sun and the moon do what they do. This explains their movements. It's all about magnetic energy. It's all about the magnetic fields. This is how they're frictionless and how they move in perfect unison. And just as it states in the book of Enoch, through the movement of these wheels, we see how the sun and moon will go through their vaults and rise and return in different areas. This is what the globe has blinded people to. The absolute truth of what God said all along. It has been here the whole time in the scriptures.
So there's Fibonacci numbers in pine cones, but are there Fibonacci numbers in other things that start with pine? Let's count the spirals on this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The leaves are hard to keep track of, but they're in spirals too, of Fibonacci numbers. What if we looked at these really tight spirals going almost straight up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. A Fibonacci number. Can we find a third spiral on this pine cone? Sure, go down like this, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. But that's only a couple examples. How about this thing I found on the side of the road? I don't know what it is. It probably starts with pine, though. 5 and 8. Let's see how far the conspiracy goes. What else has spirals in it? This artichoke has 5 and 8. So does this artichoke-looking flower thing. And this cactus fruit does too. Here's an orange cauliflower with 5 and 8, and a green one with 5 and 8. I mean, 5 and 8. It's actually 5 and 8. Maybe plants just like these numbers, though. Doesn't mean it has anything to do with Fibonacci, does it? So let's go for some higher numbers. We're going to need some flowers. I think this is a flower. It's got 13 and 21. These daisies are hard to count, but they have 21 and 34. Now let's bring in the big guns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 17, 20, 24, 42, 53, 54, 55. I promise this is a random flower and I didn't pick it out specially to trick you into thinking there's Fibonacci numbers and things, but you should really count for yourself next time you see something spirally.
Instead, we choose to listen to NASA. Instead, we choose to listen to the idiot box. Instead, we choose to listen to scientists, and we heap amongst ourselves teachers that teach us absolute lies to keep us in the dark. When God's been saying the whole time, just look up. Look up at what's around you. I made this for you. That's all God wanted to say. Just take a look. I'm here. I am right above you. You can take comfort knowing that when you step outside and gaze up into that starry wonder of God's creation, just know that our Father in heaven is sitting up there right now, staring down at all of us, watching our every move. He knows everything that's going on down here. He has not missed anything. And just know and be comforted by the fact that our Father is right there, and He's been there this whole time. This is something that the world and NASA and the scientists can never take from us, ever. Even the lying powers and signs of Satan that are coming, the lies of the fallen angels and the lies of the world that are going to be ever increasing, will still not rob this from my heart. And they will never rob from me my faith in Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
My soul.
All right, so that's the end of the video there, but yeah, very amazing connections and connects to everything that Marissa had just gone over. It connects to the calendar as well. And, oh, you got it, Marissa. I was about to share that video. Have you ever been going through a trial but get distracted by the beauty of a rose? Yeah, no, that's a good distraction. Yeah, so the Fibonacci sequence, the Mandelbrot, which, you know, that's quite the long video to watch there, but very detailed. I know there's a couple sections in there. I don't know, maybe I'll pull that up another time and try to section out the areas that describe what the Mandelbrot is. But that design, if you zoom in on it, that same design keeps coming up again and again and again, no matter how many times you start zooming in on it. Kind of like a mirror. So if you have two mirrors facing each other and you like stand in between, it's that same image just reflected infinitely. And if you keep zooming in or magnifying it, it'll just repeat itself. That's a Mandelbrot. And it only happens because, well, it's not overlaid like the same pattern. It is the same pattern, but that's what the divider day does. It puts that step. So it's a different pattern every time until the whole, well, spirograph gets filled in. That's the end of time. So the beginning was when the pencil was put in the wheel and you start tracing that line. Then you keep going around and around and around and around. The end will be, you know, when it's all filled in. There's no more white. That's going to be where the new heavens and new earth, that's going to start. So his calendar connects all together with that. It connects to the season of deception, all of these things, the importance of the North. There's so many different things, so many different aspects. And it's these very deep connections just like that that make me feel that this is absolutely it. Because when I started, you know, we had a totally different method to start the head of the year. And it was only because Sister Marissa and her studying into it and her willingness to put up with people that are difficult to put up with, going through all of that. And, you know, she laid it out right there. The witnesses and the luminaries, the witnesses in Scripture, the witnesses in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I was like, that's it. You know, it's 3 witnesses. They all line up. Yeah, I do like that music in the video as well. So yeah, it's all very important connections, and it all connects back to the fingerprint of Yahuah himself. And like Sister Marissa was saying at the beginning, you know, light is the visual representation of sound. So Yahuah's word speaking is the light. The word made flesh, which is Yahusha, the visual representation of Yahuah spoken. So it's it's so fascinating. I mean, it goes so deep. I can go on forever about these things. And you know, it all boils down to the tree of life in the midst of the New Jerusalem, the city. The city is in the midst of Mount Zion. Mount Zion's in the midst of the earth, so Yahuah can dwell in the midst of his people. And that's what it's all about. And, you know, like the pictures I just shared in the chat, you know, it's a toroidal vortex. That's our realm. The calendar lines up exactly with that. I do have another picture to share with that. I'd like to share them on screen here for the video. Hold on. I don't know if I'm able to, though. Let me see. Let me try and find them real quick. 1 second. So I have those two, and there's another one that I have. Oh, this one. Here it is. So this also goes with what Marissa was presenting. And it has to do with the analemma as well. So there's just all these very deep connections connecting back to the word of Yahuah himself that connects to all these patterns and these signs and things like that we see in the Mazaroth. And it takes a lot of humbling ourselves, you know, admitting that we've been wrong in the past about several things. I know we've been wrong here. I've had to admit several times where I've been wrong in the past. And, you know, none of us are above correction. Nobody ever is above correction. We're living in a time of deception. There's so much deception about. So to state that we know absolutely everything, you know, would be a false statement. None of us know absolutely everything. We all have a different piece of the much bigger puzzle. And when we all come together to bring that piece together, we can see the bigger puzzle altogether. Yeah, we learn as we go. We have so many lives to sift through to find the truth. Absolutely, Heidi. That's exactly it. That would be awesome to hear some collab going on. I love it. Marissa plays the ukulele. Tabitha plays the guitar. You play the violin. Oh, and the piano and trumpet for Tabitha as well. Yeah, maybe at Sukkot. Well, I'll have to get together and sit around the fire and play some music. When is Sukkot this year? It's what's the date? You're asking the tough ones there, brother. No, I'm just kidding. Hold on. Let me try and find it here. Oh, here we go.
First week in October.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. Yes. So Sukkot is October 3rd to the 10th for the exact dates. Oh, well, yeah, there we go. Marissa's already on it. So I'll just say it out loud. Yeah, that's what I am praying for. You know, honestly, when I went to Missouri to visit for the head of the year, it was very Baruch. It was such a Barakoth, meeting everybody in person, fellowshipping in person. You know, seeing the people who we all became Mishpaha over time, you know, seeing them in person finally, and just, you know, actually able to give everybody hugs and things like that. It was awesome. It was great. So I'm sure Sukkot will be even more spectacular. Yeah, exactly. Make that coffee again. I loved it. So yeah, it's and it is my plan to relocate there to Missouri. So I'm working on the stuff to get there, and yeah, there are just so many of us Mishpaha here who live there, and it's really a central location. Yeah, Sukkot in Missouri. Yeah, and it would be awesome if Jermaine and them could come, but I know that, you know, out-of-country flights are not cheap at all. When I was there, it was really nice. I'm sure every area has its qualms. You know, humidity, ice. Here in Phoenix, it's the heat. I'd honestly rather take a little bit of humidity than 120 degree dry heat. I just cook. And again, it's not like we don't have the whole thing fully planned out, like the area and things like that. You say that now. Yeah, Bobby, I do say it now. Yeah, I heard Oregon's really nice actually as well. The Oregon Trail. I remember that game. So yeah, it's no one has passed from dysentery over there. Yeah. I mean, I think you spelled it correctly. Yes. No, that's funny. Oh, maybe you didn't spell it correct. I don't know. I don't know how to spell it correctly either. So you're not alone, sister. So yeah, you know, it's really about coming together, because honestly, we would have never figured the calendar out and things like that if we hadn't come together. Before this fellowship here was created, like Marissa was saying, we were in several different groups. All of us, well, a few of us here, all the OGs, we were there together in just these different groups and trying to figure out how to intercalate all these different things. And we just learned, things, they don't go by the Gregorian. The Saturday Sabbath that's kept, sacred by everybody, turns out that's not even the true Sabbath day. As much as everybody loves to think that, and I don't hate others if they want to observe it on Saturday. I don't hate those who want to follow silver moons and things like that. I do not agree with the calendar, and unfortunately, I will not be going to, any festivals that they have. And that's just my personal opinion. That's Sukkot on Oregon Trail. I can saddle up my oxes and make my way out there. I should get there by the time it's Sukkot. There we go. But yeah, no, it's I'm just being silly, but no, it's good to have laughs, especially since I know many of us are going through different trials, tribulations, stresses, whatever it is, all of us are going through it. And it's really good to have mishpachah like we have here. Go through and add us all as contacts. Yeah, I would agree. If you would like to come or click on my name there in Telegram, add me as a contact, go right ahead. Just make sure you send me a text so I know it's you. Because I don't be answering numbers I don't know that call me. Oh, you're just replying to Kelly. Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up on chat here. Awesome. And yeah, actually, Jermaine, Barak Yahuah for the praise reports, feeling a lot better. And are you up for doing your Psalms and Sirach reading today? There you go. We said the same thing. Yeah, I would love for you to read, sister. We've missed your readings. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we've definitely been keeping you in prayer, sister. I know many of us are needing prayer as well. The interesting thing is we all go through it at the same time. At least many of us do.
Okay, so Shabbat Shalom. I have
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm still flat on my back, so I've got to try to work out how to have the phone out of my hands and you still hear me, and then me hold the book. So I'll just put it on my shoulder. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello? Okay, cool. So I'm just holding the book, and I'll have to put the book down to change the page and everything. But I'm reading from Psalm 55, but it will be your Psalm 56 in regular versions. This is the Lexham English Septuagint for those that don't know. 55. For the end on behalf of the people who were removed far away from the sacred things, by David, for inscription when the foreigners took hold of him in Gath. Have mercy on me, O Yahuah, because a person trampled me down the whole day. Making war, he afflicted me. My enemies trampled me the whole day, from the arrogance of the day. For many are those who are fighting against me. I shall be frightened, but I will hope upon you. In Aliyam I will praise my words the whole day. In Aliyam I placed my hope. I will not fear. What will mere flesh do to me? The whole day they were abhorring my words. All their thoughts are against me for evil. They will dwell beside, and I will hide my heel. They will keep watch just as I waited upon my soul. For nothing will save them. In wrath, you will bring down peoples, O Aliyam. My life I proclaim to you. You set my tears before you, as even in your promise. Just changing the page. My enemies will turn around backwards in whichever day I call upon you. Look, I knew that you are my God, my Aliyam. To Aliyam I will praise with a speech. To Aliyam I will praise with a word. Upon Aliyam I placed my hope. I will not fear what a person will do to me. In me, O Aliyam, are the vows that I will render of praise, because you rescued my soul from death, and my feet from slipping, that I would be well pleasing before Aliyam in the light of the living. 56, you're 57. For the end, do not utterly destroy, by David, for inscription, when he escaped from Saul's face into the cave. Have mercy on me, O Aliyam, have mercy on me, because in you my soul has trusted, and in the shadow of your wings I will hope, until when evil passes by, I will cry aloud to Aliyam Most High, the Aliyam who does good for me. He dispatched from the heavens and saved me. He gave for reproach those who trampled me down. Aliyam dispatched his mercy and his truth, and he rescued my soul from the middle of lions. I fell asleep, troubled. The sons of humans, their teeth are a weapon and arrows, and their tongue is a sharp sword. He lifted high over the heavens, O Aliyam, and may your glory be over all the earth. They prepared a trap for my feet, and they bent down my soul. They dug a hole before my face, and they fell into it. My heart is ready, O Aliyam. My heart is ready. I will sing and sing psalms. Awake, O my awake, O my glory. Awake, harp and lyre. I will awake at dawn. I will give thanks to you among the peoples, O Yahuah. I will sing psalms to you among the nations, because your mercy was magnified unto the heavens, Shamayim, and your truth unto the clouds. Be lifted up over the heavens, O Aliyam, and your glory over all the earth. Hey, Sarah. Sarah, I think you need to go on mute.
Yeah, Sarah.
Oh my goodness. I was just, okay, it's
No
me
worries.
Thank you.
I always try and be conscious of that. Okay, go
That's
forward.
okay. That's okay. So that was the end of 56, and I just have to take a moment to find Sirach.
That was a good one, by the way. Love it.
Yeah.
You know, all I know I say it a lot, but all the Psalms, and including Sirach, Proverbs, you know, they're all very good. They all usually pertain to one aspect of our lives or another.
Yeah, you can always find, it always seems to match up sometimes. Like with anyone, with someone.
Yeah. No, so I was doing Proverbs, the 31 Proverbs a day, and just every day it would match up to exactly what was going on. And I'm like, man, like it's truly a sign from Yahuah right there.
Yeah. Okay, so in Wisdom of Sirach, I'm in 27 now, and I'll do 2 like I normally do. And so you guys can hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. It feels weird you sitting on my shoulder. Yeah.
We're the shoulder to cry on, sister. No.
27. Many have sinned for what makes no difference, and the one who seeks to become rich will turn back his eye. A peg will be driven between the joints of stones, and sin will be smashed between a sale and a purchase. Unless one holds fast to the fear of Yahuah hastily, without delay, his house will be overturned. In the shaking of a sieve, the dirt remains, so the filth of a person in his reasoning. The kiln tests the vessel of a potter, and the test of person is in his schemes. Its fruit reveals a tree's cultivation, so speech reveals the reasoning of a person's heart. Do not praise a man before reasoning, for this is the test of people. If you pursue righteousness, you will take hold of it, and you will put it on like a robe of glory. Birds will settle with the ones like them, and the truth will return to those who practice it. A lion lies in wait for prey, so do sins for those who practice unrighteousness, or so do sins for those who practice righteousness. Unrighteousness, sorry. The conversion of the godly is always wisdom, but the fool changes like the moon. Changing page. In the midst of those without understanding, observe closely the time, but continue in the midst of those who consider. The story of the stupid is offence, and their laughter is in wantonness of sin. Profanity laden, talking will lift up hair, and their fight is a stopping of the ears. The strife of the arrogant is a shedding of blood, and their railing is grievous to hear. The one who reveals secrets has destroyed trust, and will never find a friend for his soul. Cherish a friend and keep faith with him, but if you reveal his secrets, do not follow after him. For just as a person destroyed his enemy, so you have destroyed the friendship of your neighbor. And as you set a bird free from your hand, so you have let your neighbor go, and you will not catch him. Do not pursue him, for he has gone far away, and he has escaped like a gazelle from the snare. For a wound can be bound, and there is a reconciliation of abuse. But the one who uncovers secrets is without hope. The one who winks the eye designs evil things. And and no one will depart from him. He will sweeten your mouth before your eyes, and he will be amazed at your words. But later he will twist his mouth, and he will give offense with your words. I have hated many things, and I did not become like him. And Yahuah will hate him. The one who throws a stone up high throws it into his head, and a deceitful blow will open wounds. The one who digs a pit will fall into it, and the one who sets a trap will be caught in it. The one who does evil, it will be rolled onto him, and he will never know from where it has come to him. Mockery and reproach are from arrogant people, and vengeance will lie in wait for him like a lion. Those who make merry at the destruction of the godly will be caught in a trap, and pain will consume them before their death. Vengefulness and anger, these also are abominations, and a sinful man will be a possessor of them. 28. The one who avenges will find vengeance from Yahuah, and strengthening he will strengthen his sins. Forgive your neighbor his injustice, and then when you pray, your sins will be pardoned. A person holds anger against a person, and he seeks healing from Yahuah. He has no mercy for a person like himself, and he petitions regarding his sins. He, being flesh, harbors vengefulness. Who will make atonement for his sins? Remember the end and stop being an enemy. Remember destruction and death, and be true to the commands. Remember the commandments, and do not be vengeful for your neighbor. And remember the covenant of the Most High, and overlook ignorance. Abstain from a fight, and you will diminish sins. For a hot-tempered person will ignite strife, and a sinful man will trouble friends, and he casts slander between those at peace. According to the fire's wood, so it will burn. According to the person's strength will be his wrath, and according to his wealth his anger will rise. And according to the obstinacy of the fight, so it will burn. Hastened strife kindles a fire, and a hastened fight pours out blood. If you blow a spark, it will be kindled, and if you spit on it, it will be put out, and both come from your mouth. Curse gossips and the deceitful, for they have destroyed many who were at peace. A third tongue has shaken many, and scattered them from nation to nation, and pulled down strong cities, and overturned the houses of nobles. A third tongue has driven out virtuous women, and deprived them of their labours. The one who gives heed to it will never find rest, or encamp with quiet. A blow of a whip makes bruises, but a blow of the tongue will crush bones. Many have fallen by the mouth of swords, but not as many as those who have fallen because of the tongue. Blessed is the one who is protected from it, who has not gone through in its wrath, who has not pulled its yoke, and not been bound by its chains. For its yoke is a yoke of iron, and its chains are chains of bronze. Its death is a wicked death, and Hades is more profitable than it. Just changing page. It will not rule over the godly, and they will not be burned by its flame. Those who forsake Yahuah will fall into it, and it will be kindled in them, and it will never be quenched. It will be sent out upon them like a lion, and it will injure them like a leopard. Look, build a fence around your property with thorns. Tie up your silver and gold, and make a balance and scale for your words, and make a door and crossbar for your mouth. Beware lest you somehow slip in it. Do not fall before those lying in wait. That's it.
Love it. Thank you, sister.
You're welcome. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So back up at, I think it's like around 3, a person holds anger against a person and he seeks healing from Yahuah. He has no mercy for a person like himself. Are we talking about just like every person, or are we talking about neighbors, as in people like brothers and sisters? I suppose we shouldn't have anger for anyone, should we?
That's actually really what I wanted to touch on, is, our neighbors can be brothers and sisters. They can be just the people around us, things like that. So I think,
Man in general.
it's interchangeable. It's just a general statement. And, I was really reflecting on that while you were reading it as well. And, sometimes our actions and our demeanor, or, whatever it may be, it can cause pain or hurt to others. And whether it be knowingly or unknowingly as well, we can do things without realizing it.
Yeah.
So, this can cause, us to push others away or drive others away and things like that. And so I think it really is something to reflect on, like self-reflect on. And I'm really talking about me personally as well, but also in general. Because,
Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. You were still finishing.
But yeah, real quick, I just wanted to say, sometimes we can cause hurt to others, others can cause hurt to us. And whether knowing or unknowingly, we should always have that forgiveness in our heart for others. And, if I had done that to anybody, I ask for forgiveness. And those who have done it to me in the past, I also forgive them. And yeah, just important stuff to reflect on. But go ahead, sister.
Okay, so I was just going to say at the end of 27, it's 27:30. It says, and then I'll read through a little bit of the beginning of 28. I'll just read it so everyone can hear it again. Vengefulness and anger, these also are abominations, and a sinful man will be a possessor of them. The one who avenges will find vengeance from Yahuah, and strengthening, he will strengthen his sins. Forgive your neighbor his injustice, and then when you pray, your sins will be pardoned. A person holds anger against a person, and he seeks healing from Yahuah? With a question mark? He has no mercy for a person like himself, and he petitions regarding his sins. He, being flesh, harbors vengefulness. Who will make atonement for his sins? Remember the end and stop being an enemy. Remember destruction and death and be true to the commands. Yeah, anyway. Does vengefulness mean like revenge?
Yeah, that can mean revenge. It can mean, wanting to get back at somebody. Well, I mean, I guess that's what revenge is. But it's those feelings of just, I gotta, get back at this guy somehow or whatever it may be. But yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I have a story. I have a story about what just happened the other day. I was going to leave it as a voice message in the testimonial area, I guess. And I'm sorry if this might take a little bit long, and I hope I get my words right. But 32 years ago, when we were brand new Christians, my husband and I were just married, and we watched a really amazing testimony of a man. His name is Ian McCormack. He's a New Zealander and travelled the world. He was quite a young fellow at that time. And we watched a video, just a video on an actual VH video, you know, back in the day, before all that stuff. Anyway, before major technology. And his testimony was he was in the island of Mauritius, and he was diving at night time with some locals, and he got stung by 5 box jellyfish. And if anyone would know doesn't know what that is a very, very dangerous jellyfish that will kill you. You have moments generally to live, and that's just with one sting of a box jellyfish. He got stung by 5 and on the arm, and he, finding his way, trying to get back to land, he was pretty much rejected by people to help him get to the hospital. He knew he was dying. The locals said, "Mate, you're out. You're gone. You're going to die." And so he somehow, by the grace of Yahuah, he got there. But he got rejected by people that pushed him out of a taxi. And a Chinese man just said, "No, I'm not taking you in my car. I can't have a white man dying in my car. That's just like, I can't have it." So, you know, he was getting really angry at these people. This man was dying, and he needed to get to hospital to get some antivenom or something. But there was this voice in his head that he was totally atheist. This man was atheist. He didn't believe in God at all. And his mother was Christian, praying over on the other side of the world. And his mother woke up in the middle of the night or something, and she saw him in an ambulance, and she had to get on her knees and pray. Anyway, as he was in the ambulance, he eventually got someone to get him into an ambulance to get there. And it was a real dodgy old, you know, really everything is dirty. Everything was not like we have in our modern Western world. And in the back of the ambulance, he saw his life flashing before him. Like he was watching actual videos of his life in front of him. And he's like, "Wait, is this the end?" Anyway, he started calling out to, like, "If there's a God, can you help me? You know, your last moments of, I'm dying. I've got to find a way to live here." And because he knew that the venom was coming up, and he was starting to get paralyzed, and there was things that he just couldn't do anymore, but he could still do a bit of thinking. And so he said, whoever's the real God, I need to talk to you. I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing everything. I'm just trying to kind of bring it out. And in the back of the ambulance, the Lord's Prayer came up in front of his face. He remembered his mother's words, and she said, you must call out to God and ask him to forgive you of your sins. And he remembered that, and the Lord's Prayer came up in front of him, and he asked for forgiveness of his sins. And he goes, "I've been shocking, like I've done it all, like I'm just wretched, and I don't know, but can you forgive me of this, please, please? And then the next one was, but will you forgive others? And, forgive others that trespass against you. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll do that. I'll forgive. And then the face of the taxi driver came up in front of him because he was angry. He was really angry. And he looked at this taxi driver in his vision, and he's gone, ooh, yeah, I don't know. And then the Chinese man came up that said, no, I'm not going to take you in my car. And he's like, oh, what? I don't know. Anyway, so he was faced with, I need to forgive. He was so angry with these guys, and he had to forgive right there and then. Anyway, he went through it all, and he forgave. By the time he got to the hospital, he was just about dead, and they just started pumping all these IVs into him, and he goes through the whole story. But anyway, he actually ends up dying, and then he finds himself in a dark place, in a very dark, just darkness. And then he ends up, because he asked for forgiveness and everything before he died, he was saved. He believed, and he was saved. And out of that darkness, the Father brought him through and gave him a choice. Do you want to continue through or go back? I know this might sound a bit dodgy to some people, but yeah, it was a very compelling video for us. And anyway, that's the backstory to the next part. I'm sorry. But anyway, the day that I had to, so not yesterday, but the day before, I had to go to the hospital to get an ambulance to the next city hospital. Now, the only reason why I asked for an ambulance to go from the country hospital to the city hospital is because it's a very long trip, and I cannot sit upright without losing feeling in my toes, and I was just in a lot of pain. My leg cramps and can't get comfortable because of many different things going on with my foot. It's not just the thorn, it's also fibroma and fasciitis, and then nerves. And so I asked the lady on Friday, I really need to get an ambulance because I need to lay flat. I can't sit up. And anyway, the nurse was very rude, very cruel, and for some reason she'd had a bad day and she was taking it out on me and just wasn't listening to me. But we ended up coming to a decision that on Monday I had to be at the hospital at 8 a.m. to catch an ambulance so I could lay down all the way to get to the city hospital. Anyway, so I arrived there 10 minutes to 8 with my bags packed, with my husband, and obviously had to sit and wait in the waiting room very uncomfortably. And I was there for 2 hours. I waited there for 2 hours for the ambulance. And that was excruciating. I just bawled and I cried. I was in so much pain, so uncomfortable. And this particular nurse happened to be on that morning as well. And, she was looking out at me and she wasn't, wasn't fazed. Oh, did you need a bed to lay on or anything? She knew my issues, but anyway. So 2 hours later, the ambulance came. And the ambulance, for me to get to the ambulance, I had to walk with the crutches quite a long distance. Like, they didn't even have the ambulance close to the normal area where an ambulance was. The ambulance was down the road. So I had to use crutches to get all the way that way. And she said, will you be all right to step up into the ambulance? And I said, oh, I don't know about this. I've just done all this trip. and I have to get up 3 steps. I've never tried it before. I don't know. Anyway, 3 steps up into the ambulance. It's an ambulance bus for carrying passengers. Anyway, it was really hard, and I actually pulled something at the top of my leg. And when I got in there, she goes, "I'll just take a seat and we'll get going." And I said, I'm supposed to be laying down. I can't sit. I really can't sit. I've just been in excruciating pain for the last 2 hours. I cannot sit. She had a spare bed in there. There was one man with a bed. He was in a bed, and there was one spare bed, but it wasn't ready for anyone to get into. She goes, "Oh no, you've been documented as a seated patient." And I said, "No, no, 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 no. I'm here laying down. The only reason why I'm here in an ambulance is so I can lay down. Otherwise, my husband could take me in a seated car, but I cannot." And she's like, "Oh well, the lady did you as a seated, not a lay down." I said, "Please, can I please take that bed?" She goes, "Yeah, no worries. I'll make it up for you." I just cried. I thought, that woman, how dare she? She knew I needed a lay down seat, but she gave me a seated seat. I thought, either she's made a mistake or she was just having a really bad day and just wanted to hurt me. I don't know. Anyway, I was laying down in the back of that ambulance, and a vision of this guy in the back of the ambulance having to forgive. So yeah, I had to sit there and just forgive. Just pray and pray and pray, because I was really building up some anger.
Thank you.
But yesterday, sorry.
Okay. No, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, that's okay. So now I couldn't remember the name of this guy, and I couldn't remember the name of the video, but yesterday while I was laying here, I thought, what was the name of that video? Maybe it might be online by now, maybe, because I hadn't seen it in like 30 years. Anyway, yesterday I found him on YouTube, because it's obvious, it's a lot later now and he's a bit older and everything, and he's just been traveling around different he's still a Christian, yeah, he's been going around different congregations over the years and just telling his testimony to everyone that there is a heaven and that there is a hell. But yeah, I just watched his testimony, his very first testimony when he was really young, and I watched one most updated, and there was one that was just striking to me, and it was just to love everyone, just love them, forgive them and love them. And I just laid here and I thought of this lady. Yeah. And although I'd prayed in the ambulance, it was still like disturbing my heart. I knew I hadn't properly forgiven. Yeah, so I laid here yesterday and yeah, just tried to think of her with love, and she had a bad day. She deserves to go to Yahuah. She deserves love, and other people probably wouldn't understand where I'm coming from in this situation, but it was really hard. It was really hard, and I was angry. I was angry with this woman for deliberate. It felt like a deliberate thing that she did, and anyway. Thanks for hearing me out. Anyway, I ended up just laying here and just pouring out love on her in my heart, and it just really helped. It really helped. I didn't wake up in the middle of the night and think of her and grumble over the whole situation again. the top of I can't lift my leg. The same leg that has all the issues, the same foot that has all the issues now still has that. It's like I've pulled a muscle up in my hip, so I can't even lift that leg now. But I've been rubbing some of my comfrey and turmeric salve that I've made, and I feel like it's getting better. It's made it harder to walk, having what happened. But I think in the next week it should probably come good. Yeah, so there's my testimony.
Well, all praise to the Most High Yahuwah. Beautiful sister. And yeah, it's hard to imagine someone treating you that way because, you are so sweet. And, the story just kept getting more like wild as you went on. But the key part is the forgiveness right there. And beautiful. I love it. And, it's true. No matter what people do to us, the things that happen, we don't know what they're going through. So, people can unknowingly take things out on us, and, maybe she will recognize what happened and things like that. And a seed will be planted, and she'll be able to remember, like, hey, I shouldn't do that in the future. That's what we can pray for anyways. But yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. I actually prayed that he would come to her and she would find him and know the truth. That is, I think, love. Because I don't want to, whoever she is or whatever she's done, she even looks hard in the face, and people are who they are because of where they've been and what they've gone through, and she deserves love. She works in a hospital, like, you've seen it all, and yeah.
Well, maybe you were placed in her life for that purpose, to pray for her. I know it sounds like it was a tremendous day for you, but it might change her life.
Yeah, and I was calm and gentle to her and loving all the way through. So hopefully that, that soft word turns away a bit of anger. She might hopefully go home and think a bit more about the situation. I don't know. Maybe it was just another piece of her day that she has to see. But yeah, I just pray that Yahuah can use that situation somehow. And
that was quite a witness for her.
Yeah, I agree. Quite a witness.
And she may not even know. She might not even know what she's done at all. I don't know. But I'm praying that Yahuah somehow makes something of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. She may not even realize it. And Yahuwah allows these things to happen for a purpose, and it refines us. Suffering through trials and tribulation, it can also build up character, and it builds up our strength in Yahuwah as well, because we lean on Him, especially when we're going through these things, and He doesn't let us down. So yeah, forgiveness is very important. No matter what people have done to us or how they treated us, it may be difficult to forgive like immediately sometimes because of emotions and things like that. They can get in the way. And actually, I was listening to Brother Joe Christmas. He had there's something about forgiveness today, actually, this morning, and I was listening to it. Yeah, remarkable timing. And he mentioned, don't wait until those feelings have gone away to start forgiving. You want to work on that immediately. You want to forgive as soon as possible. And I think you gave us a good example of that, sister. You were going through it, all those terrible things one after the next, and then you weren't angry or upset with her. You were still calm, And, it's setting the example is what it is. And it's
I was
very
angry
commendable.
in my heart. I was angry in my heart, but I was gentle on the outside.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. So you were angry, yes, but you didn't show that anger. Let your emotions get in the way.
That takes a lot of strength, Jermaine, to overcome what's going on inside.
I think it's been a really good teaching moment for me to love. Like, everyone says, oh, yeah, I love, blah, blah, blah. But actually going through that decision and in your heart saying, yeah, I will love. I will love because everyone does need love and we are who we are. Yeah. I mean, I've been through stuff like this a little bit before in my past as well. And, you forget. You forget. And now's a time where I think I just needed to be reminded again. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it was good. So hopefully I'll heal now, like the scriptures said.
Absolutely. No, you're definitely going to heal, sister. I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you, sister. And yeah, forgiveness is something we all can work on, myself included. It's tough to forgive. And like I mentioned earlier, if I did anything to cause hurt or pain or suffering unknowingly, even knowingly to others, I want to ask for forgiveness. And the same, if that has happened to me, if someone has hurt me, I forgive them as well. And there's specifically a few I have in my mind right now that, I'm asking for forgiveness and that I am forgiving as well. Yeah, exactly, Jennifer. Let not the sun go down upon your anger. And that's what it is.
Sometimes we don't see the magnitude of the forgiveness that we have, and sometimes we do. Just this week, I got some super good evidence of how things can change so quickly. 10 days ago, my 18-year-old nephew was killed in a car accident, and he was so loved, such a sweet kid. He was my brother's grandson, and everybody was so affected. But that side of the family tend to be a little more secular. Yeah, they believe in Jesus and God and everything, but just living kind of in the world, especially my brother. 5-6 years ago when I was taking care of my parents, my siblings got real mean, and especially this brother. And it's been really hard because I have zero contact with my family anymore, but I've had to forgive them. And it's been a process over and over and over. And I can tell because when somebody starts talking to me about my family, I can feel it, welling up in me. And then I say things that aren't so nice. And then I realize, whoops, I got to go back and do some more forgiveness and prayer. Well, after my nephew was killed, it hit so hard. I took one by one every person in my family, and we're talking over 50, with all the brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews, and great nieces and nephews. I thought, okay, I've got to go into the throne room of heaven and cancel all judgments that I have against different people. And we make judgments all the time about people, just thoughts here and there. And so I went through everyone, especially that brother. I remember it was last week. It was really hard to do that because he'd been so extremely hurtful. Well, I haven't talked to him in over 5 years. Well, Saturday morning, I got a message from him. He left me a message. This is the brother I haven't talked to in forever. And he was the grandfather of the kid who was killed. I couldn't believe what my brother was saying. He was so remorseful. I mean, he didn't call me to tell me sorry or anything. He was just telling me thank you for, being supportive of the family and telling me, what he had been going through that week. And it was amazing because he was in such shock, and he took off work, went up to Lake Michigan and spent days on the beach because that's where he used to take his grandsons, and just talking to God and talking to my nephew. And in the fourth book of Ezra, chapter 7, where Ezra asked the angel of the Lord, who's probably Yahusha, I think, what happens after somebody passes? Well, the angel of the Lord was telling him all these things, if you're a righteous person or if you're wicked. And the angel did say that for 7 days, the person, the spirit or soul from the deceased person is still here. And, they're seeing what's going on, and they're also seeing the glory of the Most High and experiencing different things before they actually go. They leave to go to their habitations, where is the place of rest, and each person at rest has an angel guarding over them. And I assume that's probably Sheol. Sheol has multiple, chambers, one for the wicked, one for the righteous, until the resurrection. Well, anyways, my brother, this was during that 7-day time, and he really felt like he was, conversing with my nephew and talking with him. And my family doesn't get into that kind of stuff. We're not into the occult. We're not into contacting the dead, none of that stuff. So I was a little surprised to hear him, but I gave him that scripture and told him, what happens, and just wanted to comfort him. And it just felt like all the walls fell. And and this is the biggest part. This is the most exciting part. Okay, this is a brother who since high school has been running from God, has been rebellious and just worldly. Okay, well, he said the Friday that he was going to leave, he just felt like the work was not finished, and he got an email from one of my sisters who said, Parker, he's like stuck. She says, I don't know why, but he needs to be released. You need to be baptized for him, which is okay to do. We can do that. But she said, you have to get right with God first. You can't do anything for him unless you get right with God. And that broke the dam for my brother. And all those years of hurt and bitterness and anger and things that had gone on in high school, and it just broke. And he knew he had to do it for Parker and for himself. And when he did, and he baptized, he was a proxy for Parker and was baptized for him. He said he felt Parker released, and he said all the grief, all the heaviness, all the darkness in him left like immediately. And he's a different person. He is absolutely a different person. And also the death of my nephew has affected, that others in that family, my brother's son, who's the dad, and the former wife, who's the mom, and different people. And it seems like it's having such a cascading effect. It's sad to lose a young one like that. It's horrific, but it's having a good effect on many people. And yesterday was the memorial service, and there was hundreds of people there. And in the past week, I've been able to talk to high school kids that were friends with my nephew, and just telling me, how he affected their lives and how he changed them. And he was protective of kids that were being bullied, and how, people were reaching out to God. And that memorial service was like, it was like the Ruach HaKodesh was absolutely there. It's, sad to lose someone, but I felt like I needed to forgive, and my brother had to forgive, and there's a lot of people forgiving and a lot of healing. And because of it, I think many people are coming to the Father and Yahusha, and there's not a lot of time left. So, it's, I think hundreds will be saved because of that. So it's hard to, imagine just what our effects could be. And Jermaine, with you being such a positive witness to that woman, you have no idea how many people that could affect through her. I believe everything good that we do, when we stay in that righteous mode, even when it's hard and it goes against our flesh, it has a rippling effect. The Father will take what we do and through our faith and multiply it, and I didn't realize that until just this week. Whatever we do is multiplied, whether it's good or bad. And it sure has brought a lot of conviction in me. So I hope you do better real quick, Jermaine. And you were used for a good purpose. So I hope the Father heals you quick.
Thank you, Sarah.
Oh, you're welcome, sister.
We're all praying for you, sister. 100%.
Mm-hmm. We definitely are.
I know many of us are going through different trials and tribulations, and yeah, I know I said it before, but it just shows the importance of why we do all truly need each other. To pray for, to be there for, to give a testimony for as well. So all praise to the Most High Yahuah, and yeah, thank you for sharing as well, Sister Sarah.
Mm.
Yeah, Sarah, my sincerest apologies of your nephew.
Well, it's hard to imagine, and I'm still in disbelief over it, but we have to, and he was a believer. He used to wear a cross on a necklace. Now, I know what we think about crosses, but when you see somebody wearing a cross, that's their way of saying, I believe in Jesus. So I'm confident he's in a good place, and he's been impactful.
Got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. I just can't imagine losing a child. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's especially what the enemy likes to attack with, loss, whether
Yeah.
it's loss of a family member, loss of a loved one, the loss of just someone special or a close friend, or any kind of loss, really.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that can be some of the toughest.
Yeah. This life is tough, and it has so much heartache and grief, but we have to remember this is a passing bleep in all of eternity, and soon we'll look back on it all and think it was worth it. We don't think that now, It's like, I just want out of here. This life is awful.
Right.
And it's one test and one trial after another.
It really is. Trials do build character. It's like refinement, like gold. But it doesn't make the suffering any less. It's still hard to go through. Yeah.
Yeah, and sorry, Jeremy.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying to Jermaine, I know you said that you were very upset and mad, but you didn't let those emotions rule your character, and you were able to speak lovingly after. And he tells us that it's what comes out of the mouth that defiles us. So, he gave us emotions, because it helps us with the process of loving. And, we can have righteous anger, but are we going to replace that anger with also speaking anger, right? Two wrongs don't make a right. So you felt that because it was something that was done wrongly to you, but instead of doing wrong to somebody else, you decided to show them with love instead. And I just said that that's just so big of you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that the orange video, when when an orange is squeezed, orange juice comes out. You don't get lemon juice, you don't get pineapple juice, you get orange juice. So the same, when we're put under pressure and we're squeezed, what comes out of us will show, who we are. And so it's important to, well, well, besides that, Natalie, I mean, not physically crushed, but y'all know what I'm talking about. But yes, so when we're squeezed, we have pressure, we're going through different things. What's coming out of us when that happens? Is it anger? Is it hate? Or is it love and compassion and patience? And yeah, really, truly something each of us can reflect on. And I'm speaking because it's something I need to work on as well. Natalie with the jokes, yeah. But yeah, it's all about having that compassion, that forgiveness, even through being squeezed, being pressured.
Well, and then, the whole concept of, treat others the way you want to be treated. It's really hard to treat people the way you want to be treated when they're not treating you the way that you would treat them. But it's to still remain blameless, right? Just because somebody did that to you doesn't mean you should do it back to them. That's why he tells us to love our enemies and to pray for those that hurt us and, spitefully, use us and everything, like we're supposed to then in turn show that with love and compassion and mercy and grace, because you can't meet evil with evil and expect good to come out of it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Very true. Important topics, and it's all about the heart. Who do we have a heart for? Do we have a heart for Yahuah? And if we do, we should follow his heart and have forgiveness on everyone as well.
And it does say that we need to forgive so that he can also forgive us. Where is that scripture? Forgive others and he will forgive.
Forgive
Yeah.
others. That way the Father in heaven will forgive you as well.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm quite blank at the moment.
No, I know what you're talking about. I'm the same way. I know what it says. I just can't tell you the book or number.
And then I know the people, and I've gone down this thought line as well. It's like, well, I'm not going to have to forgive anyone unless they ask for forgiveness. I don't need to forgive if they don't ask for forgiveness. I actually don't believe that to be true anymore. I think we still need to have that fruit of love and forgiveness, because otherwise, if we don't forgive, it just doesn't math. It just doesn't math. The math is wrong. The math is wrong. Because
Yeah.
we're the ones that need to have the peace at the end of the day. Can you say that again, Drew?
Much has been forgiven you, therefore forgive much.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, spot on, brother. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No matter what, just sorry.
I was going to say, I've also heard the saying that unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting it to hurt the other person.
Yeah, good analogy.
Yeah, really good analogy. That's exactly what it is too. And yeah, it's just it's a matter of the heart is what it always boils down to. And you know, none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. And you know, it's just when we make these mistakes or we're going through trials and tribulations, it's to help refine us and help to build that discernment and basically know better and then do better as well.
Unforgiveness and anger breeds bitterness. And you'll find that you become more bitter towards a person if you haven't forgiven. Like, even though I prayed in the ambulance on the way down to forgive this woman, even though I thought, is it from my heart? Yeah, I think it's from my heart. Yeah, all good. Let's go. But I still had some sort of root of bitterness. Every time I thought of her, I got angry. I still got angry. And so, yeah, I had to go through something yesterday and watch this thing again. But something that he said within that just made me go, oh, I think I need to just do this right, because I wasn't feeling the love. I actually wasn't feeling the love. There was still bitterness. I needed to get that root out. And now I don't feel angry and bitter, although I'm still in pain. I know it'll go away. Yeah, I just had to pluck out that little root of bitterness, because unforgiveness definitely breeds bitterness.
Yes, so very true. It does. If you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Matthew 6:14 and 15. Perfect, Heidi. Thank you.
There you go.
And, yeah. So, you know, forgiveness is very important in all aspects, whether we've been wronged or we have wronged others. And we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And yet, bitterness destroys the liver. And did you know, actually, the livers and the kidneys, those are the special organs that are set aside for Yahuah when offerings are made. You know, those are the portions that are a sweet smelling aroma to Yahuah. And not only that, but the liver and the kidneys also represent our most innermost being. So there's a lot of connections there.
Well, not only physically speaking, for them to be our, filters for toxins, obviously it sounds like they are a spiritual filter for toxins and things like that as well. So if we're not doing things to, like having forgiveness, I mean, that's such a big thing. You read of, so many cancers and heart issues and liver problems. And, I myself have gone through some of those things in the past couple years, is realizing that when you have like really deep sadness and some unforgiveness and other just negative feelings that you're just harboring that you haven't been able to release yet, or just process all the way through, those things are harbored inside your body and they can really wreak havoc on you.
Yeah, exactly. It's so very true. And yeah, our liver and our kidneys do filter out the bad things. So, that has a correlation with, filtering out sin as well. Beautiful. I love it. So yeah, all these things, very important. Forgiveness, love, compassion, sure, things can happen and be said in the heat of the moment when, we allow our emotions to overcome us. And, nobody is above that. We all have experienced times where, our emotions have just overcome us. Sometimes one thing after the next happens, and that's really the test and the refinement at the same time. So it all builds character. It's all refinement through fire, gold. Yeah, Hebrews 12:14 and 15. Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which, O man, shall see Yahuah, looking diligently lest any man fall of the grace of Yahuah, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Love it, Heidi. On point with the scriptures. Nice, there you go, Angel. You got a new project. Yada Yahuah, absolutely. I understood you there. And yeah, honestly, I had that same idea there, Brother Angel. Because there really is no perfect version of scriptures out there that you can purchase. One of my favorites is Yah's scriptures, but even that has some mistakes. So, such as, it has new moon in there and things like that. And we should know here that Kodesh has nothing to do with the new moon. But yes, perhaps, going through, translating the words directly and just having, a true direct translation to what scriptures actually says might be very helpful. I think it's Jeff Brenner, who did something similar to that.
Jeff has excellent work done, and I have used some of his work to better understand the language in general.
Yeah, exactly. So there are quite a few there, and if you would like to learn like the Paleo Hebrew or the pictographic, there's flashcards and things like that. I know I have like a whole series, like a book series and it goes over each letter in the alphabet, and it shows the Paleo, the pictographic, and the modern, and it gives like the definition of the particular letter and things like that. So I know there's a lot of different resources out there for things like that. I think it's important to look into. Yeah, maybe one day we can all live closer to one another. Honestly, that would be the goal. We already have like what 15 or 20 in here that already live in Missouri. So but yeah, no, if we were all in person and it would be so amazing, like truly. Maybe we can all just go to Jermaine and Drew's there in Australia. Yeah, although, yeah, that's right, Jermaine. Even though he does seem to know what he's talking about, the words translated, they still translate Hodesh as like new moon and things like that. Yeah, it would be awesome, Brother Kelly, truly. It'd be cheaper for you guys to go to us. All right. Come on down, Sister Jermaine, Brother Drew. Yeah, the excuse me, the Aleph Tav scriptures. Yeah, exactly. He can do it for sure. I know, right? I would agree with you, Heidi. Who doesn't want to visit Australia? I do. Often joked about that. Like Ken, he's got a boat, so he can come pick us up here in the States, sail us off to Jermaine's.
But you guys are all too frightened of snakes and spiders and things that kill you. Mate. You got to toughen up, mate.
So I was helping my mom clean the basement a few days ago, and one of the kids had put like a fake black spider, and I mean, I flipped out. So I will practice it. Okay, Jermaine?
Okay.
I just can't get over that their size. They're just the size of your hand and bigger. That's the only thing that gets me.
Well, I live here in the desert, so we have very big spiders and snakes and plants
Scorpions.
that'll sting bite you, scorpions. Yeah, we have all that, so I think I can handle Australia.
Look, you just got to get used to stuff. Like when you live with something all your life, it's just normal. It's okay.
Slap your tea tree and cedar oil on and get your buns outside.
Yeah. You guys have got things that you're used to, and I go, oh my goodness, you've got bears. I'm not used to bears. And you're like, yeah, it's just a bear. And I'm like, yeah, it's just a spider. It's just a snake. It's all right.
Right, exactly. So, yeah,
Jermaine,
I'm used to it.
Jermaine, I want to say that it's really good to hear your voice, and it's good to hear you being happy.
Oh, thank you. It's amazing. Like, ever since that thing came out of my foot, my head just lightened. I felt so much better. The past month and a bit I've just had this heavy, super heavy weight and depression, and I don't know, I just like couldn't concentrate. Found it very hard to read. But yeah, amazing how the change. Yeah, thank you. I feel it.
Sister Jermaine, I want to give you a heads up that that's kind of similar to some things that I've been going through, and I'm sure many of us have been going through similar things. Just thought you should know.
Thank you, brother. Yeah.
Jermaine, let's go back real quick to the spider and bear thing. Bears are scary, but you can see them, right? They can't really sneak up on you that well. So you could see them and run away. Spiders and snakes, you don't see it until it's either on you or like super close to you.
Not 100% of the time. No, you can see them. They're big, right?
I think maybe a couple of my Facebook friends may have heard this story before, but this past winter, we had, in Missouri, we do have a few scorpions, but they're just tiny things, maybe a couple 2 inches long or something like that. Well, I had never seen one before because I'm from Nebraska, and I'll tell you, I was sitting on the couch one day and I felt something, on my upper thigh, and I just, maybe thought it was, I didn't know. I was sitting on my living room couch. I didn't expect that it was much. And I grabbed it off of me, and it was a scorpion, and I chucked it across the room. And I just was in complete disbelief that, number one, there was a scorpion on me. Number two, that it didn't bite my leg. And then number three, that I was able to even have it in my hand and chuck it across the room without it stinging me. And then within that week, we had seen, one downstairs and then one on the outside of the house, but haven't seen any since. So My girls were pretty paranoid. Like every single night I was having to, you know, check their bed sheets really good and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, the creepy crawlers, that's, yeah, not a no-go, but there's worse.
Yeah, we don't like creepy crawlers either. But something I was just thinking of is the big ones aren't generally the venomous ones. They're not the ones that tend to hurt you. It's the little ones like the redback spider. There's a lot of little ones that do the biting and are the venomous ones. It's the big ones that are like, oh, you know, they're a bit fluffier and cuddlier.
Oh gosh, you said fluffy and cuddly. Just
No.
So funny.
Except the tarantulas. The tarantulas are huge, and I think they're venomous, right? But anyway, I haven't seen any of them. They're not very common at all.
And I had also, it's so crazy. I had also seen 3 black widows in the past 2 or 3 years.
Mm. Yeah, see, they're venomous, right?
Spiders and no, we got tarantulas out here. They're pretty large. You know, if you see them, they're gonna frighten you. I've been frightened by them. But we also have other bugs and stuff like that. We have what's called tarantula hawks, and they're wasps that are huge, and they pick up tarantulas to eat them. So if you think a tarantula is big, wait till you see this giant wasp. You remember those murder hornets that everybody was all afraid of? Those ain't nothing compared to these tarantula hawks. So, yeah, a bear definitely much different than like a kangaroo, for example. I'm sure both are just as dangerous. Seen I've seen some of those kangaroos and they can outbox some people and you know there's bears that will yeah, you don't want to mess with a bear.
Yeah, so not all kangaroos are gonna hurt you. It's just those big muscly ones, the big red ones, and you barely ever see those. Barely. The the kangaroos are actually quite fluffy and cuddly. Like it's not a bad thing. But yeah, there's a couple of big bad ones, but yeah, no, you don't see much of that.
That's kind of similar with bears. Like there's like little brown bears and things like that. I mean, yes, they're dangerous. You want to stay away from them. But it's like the big grizzly bears that they're going to tear you apart no matter what. So the little brown ones are probably just as afraid of you as you are of them. Whereas a grizzly bear, like those things get like 20, 30 feet tall, like thousands of pounds, huge claws. Yeah, you don't want to mess with them. So yeah, it seems like similar almost with the kangaroos.
I mean, but honestly, like how many bear attacks do you hear about versus like people getting bit by snakes and spiders?
Yeah, I mean that's true.
Again, it's the sneaky ones that you don't know are there versus the ones that you're like, oh, that's a big bear. I should run away. But I agree with Natalie. Jermaine came out of the hospital and she's like one with nature now. Calling spiders just cuddly, furry friends.
They are cuddly and furry. Yeah, bears are cuddly. Bears are super cuddly. Would you want to cuddle with one? I don't know. Yeah, bears aren't so bad. You just have to be faster than the one you're with. Precisely.
We have bears. We have a bear. That's the koala bear. That's pretty cuddly, but it's got some pretty ripping big fingernails.
Cuddly if it wants to be.
Cuddly if it wants to be, and not cuddly if it doesn't want to be.
Wild bears.
Yeah, they can get pretty angry, but generally they're slow and careful and loving.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they are. Not all bears are mean. Yeah, until they're not. Yeah, exactly. It's and yeah, Shabbat Shalom to Tracy, Don, and Sophia. Glad you can make it here today.
Even though I joke around about all that, Jermaine, if I had the means to get to Australia and meet you, I would definitely be on the next plane there, for real. I wouldn't let
Oh yeah,
spiders and snakes scare me.
yeah, 100%.
That would be so awesome. I'll keep you safe.
Yeah, I would just say you just had to be very endearing toward me because
Oh yeah.
I do I do have a fear of spiders.
We had a lady come up for a Sukkot once. She came from the city of Sydney, which is one of the biggest cities we've got in Australia. And she's, lived in a unit. She was Torah observant and she came for a Sukkot and she's never been camping. She's, 30s. And she arrived at really dark, late at night. And, we had toads jumping around and she was so frightened of toads. She would scream. Oh dear.
Oh,
Yeah.
toads! Oh, see, I love frogs.
I know, right?
I love frogs, and I'm not really scared of any other insects. It's just the spiders. It's the 8 legs and all the multiple eyes and when you can see the hair on them. Oh my gosh. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. We're in the tropics. Things are different, but we're okay because we're used to it. It's where
I
everyone
think
gets
you
used
would,
to where they live.
yeah, you would win me over with all that amazing fruit that you post. Oh my goodness.
And goat's milk and goat's cheese and
Yeah, all of that. But
yeah.
mainly the fruit. I'm a big fruit person, and I see the fruit you post, and it just looks
Mm,
amazing.
yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, you got all the good stuff there. The guanabana and stuff. Don't you have some of that there? The soursop, as it's called.
Oh, I was going to say, what was that? I don't know what that is.
It's called
Yeah.
guanabana here. Also soursop, but yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit of soursop.
That's actually, no, it's not sour at all. It kind of tastes like, I guess, a mix of like a pineapple and a banana, kind of. I don't know. It's like very unique, but it has like that banana like aspect to it. I guess
There
it's
is
really good. Oh, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
think there is a slight tingly sourness to it, but it is sweet. It's just got that tang. It's got a tang.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, like, it reminds me of like a pineapple and a banana because a pineapple has that like tang, even though it's sweet, but like more banana-ish. It's hard to describe, really. It's really good, and it's really good for it if you have like cancer and things like that. Soursop is known to reverse those kind of effects and things. So lots of good benefits for it.
Also, really good for your gut and for fighting against parasites too, right? The soursop?
Yeah. You know, there's so many different fruits there and plants and herbs and things like that that, very beneficial for us. Soursop, there's, the things that they call weeds in our driveways that they say, oh, kill them all. Most of those are actually beneficial for us. They're good for our guts, our lungs, our different organs, all these different things. And it just reminds me of the rock where it says Yahuah made medicines of the earth. and those who abhor them are unwise.
Did you say poor?
Yep, exactly.
Which again is kind of interesting because my mom told me that like apricot seeds are like really good for preventative against cancer too. And it is really hard here, at least in the United States, to find anything that actually has any seeds in them anymore, like grape seeds. I can't remember the last time I ate grapes that had seeds in them. Um, the seeds are supposed to be really, really, really good for you, and it's really hard to find anything with seeds in it anymore. Even things that are organic, still is tough to have seeds in them, and so you can't even go to a different country and bring the seeds back from that country without getting stopped by security, and they consider that like contraband. Like you cannot smuggle that into the United States, which is weird because how do you smuggle seeds? It shouldn't be legal. Seeds aren't like drugs, but they know what they do, and that makes it very obvious that they're trying to keep us sick.
Miranda,
Yes.
sorry, you just started talking about the grape seeds. Now I have a friend that says, oh, she thinks the grapeseed oil is good. And it's like, well, there's a lot of seed oils that aren't good. But then I said to her, well, we've got so many seedless grapes now. It's really rare to find a grape with seeds. How are they making grapeseed oil? Like, is it real?
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, how many seeds do you need to make oil out of grapes?
I would assume a lot.
Yeah, but they don't have a lot anymore. It's all seedless, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard to find any grapes here that have seeds in them. I used to remember it as a kid because I didn't really like the taste of, like, they were just a tiny bit bitter. I would spit them out. But my mom would be like, that's the best part. And so, like, I loved grapes, but it would just kind of hurry up and crunch through the seeds. And but now I'm like, give me the grapes with seeds, please. Now that I know that they're good for you, but they're nowhere to be found. But that's a good point. I don't know where you would get grapeseed oil.
Yeah, especially organic as well.
Yeah.
So we can find grapes with seeds here, but only like seasonally, of course. And they're really expensive. But I definitely will chew on the seeds now when we do get them. I have a friend who is going to come and visit from the Gold Coast. She's Torah observant. And she's going to bring me one of her little vines that she's been growing from seeds. So I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
And yeah, like, so the things like having copper rods in the ground in our gardens, I know there's states here in the US that try to ban that. Collection of rainwater, like Heidi said there in Oregon. I know here in Arizona it's fine to collect rainwater, but I know there are some states that they don't allow it. And really anything that's beneficial for us, they try to keep it under lock and key, and then they try to like make it illegal for us to do these different things. Even talk about them. Like, for example, to be careful here because when I upload it to YouTube, I can get another, medical misinformation strike. I've had so many of them just talking about natural remedies. And it's like, they really don't want that information out there. And it's really sad. Yeah, I'm not sure if the copper posts are banned nationwide. I know in different states they are. I think it's fine if you do it out here in Arizona. But yeah, it definitely varies state by state, and it's very strange like that. But Arizona sounds like Jersey. Yeah, with without the Jersey part. Because who cares Jersey? No, I'm just kidding. I know, right? Everything's together. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that here, but it's like the Wild West. It's hot. You got people angry everywhere. You know, you don't need a permit to conceal carry and things like that. It's okay just to, carry. You can have a shotgun in the back window of your truck or on your dashboard or whatever, and it doesn't matter. It's perfectly fine. They are only angry because it's too hot. Exactly. That's heck. I get too angry because it's too hot. That's why I'm like, nah. I don't want to be here no more. I was born and raised here. I've had enough of the heat.
I just say something about the copper, something I learned yesterday. I probably learned it a while ago but forgot. But I'm just thinking of Sumi. If you can hear, you said that you had an iron issue, low in iron, and you're trying to be, eating meat and all that sort of thing to keep the iron in, and it's still failing. Well, my friend sent me a video yesterday. I haven't watched it yet, but about the reason why the iron is not sticking inside is because you're not having enough copper. I'm just wondering if your copper levels are high enough to be able to absorb the iron. So that's just another thing. You may know that. I don't know. I'm just thought I'd just say that because they don't tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. Copper, very beneficial. Here in the US, back in the day, that's what all the water pipes were, like the drinking water, even the faucet water. It was copper pipes throughout the houses, copper pipes throughout the ground. And they changed it all out for just plastic and rubber and things like that now, like this different polyurethane stuff and stuff that's not beneficial for us. So they do all these things for a reason and a purpose, and if it's beneficial and good for us, they don't want it. They just want us sick and debilitated.
Well, and I know I know everyone, well, everyone here that knows me knows that I'm big on copper as well, and it's amazing what copper, like the conductor that copper is. And when you have the copper and water together, what it does is it neutralizes the water and takes out the impurities in it. And so it's not a coincidence that they don't do copper pipes anymore in houses. They really do not want us healthy. They want us as sick as possible.
Yeah, the other thing they used to do in houses is they had the brass and copper doorknobs for the natural, like,
yes,
antibacterial, whatever. That reminded me of that 'cause Tabitha sent me a video earlier this week about like just a copper rod that people were using like after they go to the bathroom instead of like washing with the nasty SLS soaps in the bathrooms in public. Like you just use the copper rod.
Yeah, in hospitals, I guess they used to also have like copper cups. Whenever they had patients, they gave them water in like copper cups and copper pitchers and everything like that as well.
And linen bed sheets.
Linen bed sheets, and they put their patients in big sunrooms so that the sun could help also heal them too. And yep, water
And you have
therapy.
nasty LED lights above you.
Yep.
And we look around now, and it's just the opposite of all that. I don't want to say too much because I'll get another ban off YouTube, but yeah, trust the white robed witches, pharmakia, trust all that. Don't worry about all what Yahuah provided. But that's the thing, is Yahuah did make these natural remedies for us. They grow naturally. Can we buy pure copper cups? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can buy them pretty much anywhere. Yeah, I know for sure online.
Yeah, so I have a copper water jug that I got from Amazon. You just have to make sure it's 100% pure copper, and you'll know that there's, and I wouldn't get one that has any other metals mixed with it. You just want it to be pure 100% copper, and you'll know by just looking at the reviews. And then when you get it, you can test it with a magnet. The magnet should be almost repelled against it. It should not be sticking to it. That's how you know it won't be mixed with other metals.
Yeah, good advice. And yeah, there are so many of these different things beneficial for us, and they hide it all. That's why we come here to discuss these things too. I love discussing it because, it helps others as well. And same thing with structured water as well. I know we talked about that before, but structuring your water, adding copper to that, it's like a living water versus just, a dead water. Because sitting water isn't considered living. Like it has to be flowing and things like that. And because water has memory, it's basically like a storage is what it is. So if the water is flowing, it's living, it's got beneficial, nutrients in it. That's the living water versus, this dead water sitting in pools with a bunch of algae and whatever else in it. It's not, and water retains. So if it's dingy and dirty, it's going to retain that. If it's good and clean, it's going to retain that. Oh, nice. Your son's been melting down copper, putting it into bars. No, that's a good idea. Yeah, exactly. It's why we go to the river. Nice. Yeah, copper. It's a hot commodity. Really is. So yeah, there's so much out there, and all praise to the Most High Yahuah, truly. Let's see. We're almost at 3 hours again here for the recording. Telegram only does 4 hours, but it's hard to seem that 3 hours has already gone by. It's doesn't even seem like it. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. But yeah, I truly enjoy fellowshipping with each and every one of you. It's truly a barakah, and I love coming together and just discussing all these different topics too.
I've got a random idea. Who wants to do a random scripture reading? Somebody different, maybe?
I do lots of scripture readings. So does Jermaine.
Would you
If you
guys
want
like
to
me to
do
read
one,
something?
yeah, go ahead, brother.
Okay. What do you guys want me to read? You guys pick something, and I'll read something.
I don't know. You said random.
Yep,
Psalms.
random. You pick.
Psalms. Heidi says Psalms. I know Jermaine just read some Psalms. Baruch.
Baruch or Psalms? Which one?
I like Baruch.
You like what?
Baruch. Baruch.
Baruch? Okay.
Baruch, yeah. Let's do it.
Give me 1 minute, please.
Yeah, no worries. No, I love Psalms as well. You know, it's
Yeah,
you can
Psalms is good.
never read enough.
Hold on. Almost got it.
Yeah, there you go, Natalie. That the copper container there, the magnet does not stick to it. That's what you're looking for, yeah. I know Baruch mentions some things about the timeline as well, you know, about the little season and things like that. So it's kind of interesting.
Okay, I think I got it. Yep, I got it. Okay. Now these are the words of the scroll which Baruch, son of Neriah, son of Maaseiah, son of Zedekiah, son of Hasadiah, son of Hilkiah, wrote in Babylon. In the 5th year, on the 7th day of the month, at the time the Chaldeans took Jerusalem and destroyed it with fire, Baruch read the words of this scroll in the hearing of Jeconiah, son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah. And all the people who came to the reading, the nobles, kings, elders, sons, elders, and all the people, small and great, all who lived in Babylon by the river Sud, they wept and fasted and prayed before the Lord, and collected such funds as each could afford. These they sent to Jerusalem to Jehoiakim, the priest, son of Hilkiah, son of Shalom, and to the priests and the whole people who were in Jerusalem. At the time he received the vessels of the house of Yahuah that had been removed from the temple to restore them to the land of Judah on the 10th of Sivan. These silver vessels Zedekiah, son of Josiah, king of Judah, had made, after Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, carried off as captives Jeconiah and the princes, the skilled workers, the nobles, and the people of the land of Jerusalem, and brought them to Babylon. The message was, "We send you funds, with which you are to procure burnt offerings, sin offerings, and frankincense, to prepare grain offerings. Offer these on the altar of Yahuah our Eluah, and pray for the life of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, king of Belshazzar, his son, that their lifetimes may be as the days of the heavens above the earth. Pray that Yahuah may give us strength and light to our eyes, that we may live under the protective shadow of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and of Belshazzar, his son, to serve them many days and find favor in their sight. Pray for us to Yahuah our Eluah, for we have sinned against the Mighty One. Even to this day, the wrath of Yahuah and his anger have not turned away from us. On the feast day and during the days of assembly, read aloud in the house of Yahuah this scroll that we send you. To Yahuah our Eluah belongs justice, and to us, people of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem, to be shamefaced on this day, as on this day. To us, our kings, rulers, priests, and prophets, and our ancestors, we have sinned in Yahuah's sight and disobeyed him. We have not listened to the voice of Yahuah our Eluah, so as to follow the precepts Yahuah set before us. From the day Yahuah led our ancestors out of the land of Egypt until the present day, we have been disobedient to Yahuah our Eluah and neglected to listen to his voice. Even today, evil clings to us. The curse of Yahuah pronounced to Moses his servant, at the time he led our ancestors out of the land of Egypt to give us a land flowing with milk and honey. For we did not listen to the voice of Yahuah, our Eluah, and all the words of the prophets he sent us, but each of us followed the inclinations of our wicked hearts, served other Elohims, and done evil in the sight of Yahuah, our Eluah. So Yahuah carried out the warning he had uttered against us, against our judges who governed Israel, against our kings and princes, and against the people of Israel and Judah. Nowhere under heaven has anything been done like that he did in Jerusalem, as was written in the law of Moses, that we would eat the flesh of our sons and eat the flesh of our daughters. He has made us subject to all the kingdoms around us, and an object of reproach and horror among all the peoples around us, where Yahuah had scattered us. We are brought low, not raised high, because we sinned against Yahuah, our Eluah, not listening to his voice. To Yahuah, our Eluah, belongs justice, and to us and to our ancestors, to be shamefaced, as on this day. All the evils which Yahuah had warned us came upon us. We did not entreat the favor of Yahuah by turning each one from the designs of our evil hearts. And Yahuah kept watch over the evils and brought them home
I
to
don't know if
us.
it's just me, but you're breaking up
Are
there,
you guys
brother.
not able to hear? Are you guys not able to hear?
I can hear just fine.
Is it just me?
You can hear fine?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. It sounded like somebody was saying they couldn't hear. But we did not listen to his voice, or follow the precepts which Yahuah had set before us. Now Yahuah, Eluah of Israel, who led our people out of the land of Egypt with a strong hand, with signs, wonders, and great might, and with an upraised arm, so that you have made for yourself a name to the present day. We have sinned and committed sacrilege. We have violated all your statutes, Yahuah, our Eluah. Withdraw your anger from us, for we are left few in number among the nations where you have scattered us. Here, sorry. Sorry, I lost my place. 1 second.
Oh, it's all good, brother. Hey, real quick, what chapters
Yeah,
are you reading from, Baruch?
this is chapter 2.
So you started in 1?
It wasn't 1, yeah, and I might have
Okay.
lost my place.
No,
Okay,
it's all good, brother. My bad.
okay. Withdraw your anger from us, for we are left few in number among the heathen where you have scattered us. Hear, Yahuah, our prayer of supplication, and deliver us for your own sake. Grant us favor in the sight of those who brought us into exile, that the whole earth may know that you are Yahuah, our Eluah, and that Israel and his descendants bear your name. Yahuah, look down from your holy dwelling and take thought of us. Yahuah, incline your ear to hear us. Open our eyes and see. It is not the dead in Hades, whose breath has been taken from within them, who would declare the glory and vindication to Yahuah. The people who is deeply grieved, who walks bowed and feeble, with failing eyes and famished soul, will declare your glory and justice, Yahuah. Not to the deeds of our ancestors and our kings do we base our plea for mercy in your sight, Yahuah, our Eluah. You have sent your wrath and anger upon us, as you had warned us through your servants the prophets. Thus says Yahuah, bend your necks and serve the king of Babylon, that you may continue in the land I gave to your ancestors. For if you do not listen to Yahuah's voice, so as to serve the king of Babylon, I will send silence from the cities of Judah and from the streets of Jerusalem the cry of joy and the cry of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, and all the land shall be deserted without inhabitants. But we did not listen to your voice or serve the king of Babylon, and you carried out the threats you had made to your servants the prophets, that the bones of our kings and the bones of our ancestors will be brought out from their burial places. And indeed, they lie exposed to the heat of the day and the frost of the night. They died in great suffering by famine and sword and plague. And you reduced the house which bears your name to what it is today, because of the wickedness of the house of Israel and the house of Judah. But with us, Yahuah, our Eluah, you have dealt in your clemency and in all your great mercy. Thus you spoke through your servant Moses, the day you ordered him to write down your law in the presence of the Israelites. If you do not listen to my voice, surely this great and numerous throng will dwindle away among the nations to which I will scatter them. For I know they will not listen to me, because they are a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their exile they shall have a change of heart. They shall know that I, Yahuah, am their Eluah. I will give them a heart and ears to listen, and they shall praise me in the land of their exile, and shall remember my name. Then they shall turn back from their stiff-necked stubbornness and from their evil deeds, because they shall remember the ways of their ancestors who sinned against Yahuah. And I will bring them back to the land I promised on oath to their ancestors, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall rule it. I will make them increased, they shall not be few. And I shall establish for them an eternal covenant. I will be their Eluah, and they shall be my people, and I will never again remove my people Israel from the land I gave them.
Awesome.
Yahuah
Thank you, brother.
Almighty, Eluah of Israel. I'm going to read one more little bit, and then I'll stop for now, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yahuah Almighty, Eluah of Israel, the anguished soul, the dismayed spirit cries out to you, hear, Yahuah, and have mercy, for you are a merciful Eluah. Have mercy on us who have sinned against you, for you are enthroned forever, while we are perishing forever. Yahuah Almighty, Eluah of Israel, hear the prayer of the dead of Israel, children who sinned against you. They did not listen to the voice of Yahuah their Eluah, and their evil clings to us. Do not remember the wicked deeds of our ancestors, but remember at this time your power and your name. For you are Yahuah our Eluah, and you, Yahuah, we will praise. This is why we put into our hearts the fear of you, that we may call upon your name and praise you in our exile, when we have removed from our hearts all the wickedness from our ancestors who sinned against you. See, today we are in exile, where you have scattered us, an object of reproach and cursing and punishment for all the wicked deeds of our ancestors who withdrew from Yahuah our Eluah. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Listen and know prudence. How is it, Israel, that you are in the land of your foes, grown old in a foreign land, defiled with the dead, counted among those destined for Hades? You have forsaken the fountain of wisdom. Had you walked in the way of Yahuah, you would have dwelt in enduring peace. Learn where prudence is, where strength, where understanding, that you may know also where are length of days and life, where light of the eyes and peace. Who has found the place of wisdom? Who has entered into her treasuries? Where are the rulers of the nations, who lorded it over the wild beasts of the earth? Who made the birds in the heavens? Who heaped up the silver, the gold in which people trust? Whose possessions were limited? Who schemed anxiously for money? Their doings beyond discovery. They have vanished, gone down to Hades, and others have risen up in their stead. Later generations have seen the light of day, have dwelt on the earth, but the way of understanding they have not known. They have perceived her paths, or reached her. Their children remain far from the way to her. She has not been heard of in Canaan, nor seen in Teman. The descendants of Hagar who seek knowledge on earth, the merchants of Medan and Tamah, the storytellers and those seeking knowledge, those who have known the way to wisdom, nor these have not known the way to wisdom, nor have they kept her paths in mind. O Israel, how vast is the dwelling of Yahuah, how broad the scope of his dominion, vast and endless, high and immeasurable. In it were born the giants, renowned at first, huge in stature, skilled in war. These Yahuah did not choose, nor did he give them the way of understanding. They perished for lack of prudence, perished through their own folly. Who has gone up to the heavens and taken her, bringing her down from the clouds? Who has crossed the sea and found her, bearing her away rather than choice gold? None knows the way to her, nor has at heart her path. But the one who knows all things knows her. He has probed her by his knowledge, the one who established the earth for all time and filled it with four-footed animals, who sends out the lightning and it goes, calls it and trembling it obeys him, before whom the stars at their posts shine and rejoice. When he calls them, they answer, "Here we are," shining with joy for their Maker. Such is our Yahuah. No other can be compared to him. He has covered the whole way of understanding and has given her to Jacob, his servant, to Israel, his beloved. Thus she has appeared on earth, is at home with mortals. And that is the end of chapter 3.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
Not much, but there you go. Be blessed, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for reading. Yeah,
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah. Baruch, very good read. If you guys haven't read it before, I would highly recommend it. Yeah, the part about the stars, very. Yeah.
It reads like a beautiful book so far.
Yeah, it really does. It's 1, 2, and 3 Baruch all together. You know, I haven't really read the third one too much, which I do got to read again. But so far, you know, all of them, they're really good. And yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, and it is really fascinating how all these different apocryphal books, they'll mention things about the stars and things like that. Like Wisdom of Solomon, for example. You know, chapter 7 talks about how it's the sun and the stars that determine the calendar, is like the exact words it uses. You know, there's all these different clues in these apocryphal books, and that either point to the calendar or the timeline or Messiah himself. And ultimately, that's truly the reason why they were removed. And we have gone over the reasons for that was because of Rabbi Akiba in the 1st century. So yeah, there is more than just a, 66 book canon. There's definitely more than that. And the apocryphal books, as they're called, most of them were removed for one of those reasons. Either they revealed Messiah, they talked about the calendar, or they talked about the timeline. But anyways, unless anybody has any further questions or comments or anything they'd like to add, I think we may end it there for this evening.
I don't want to add anything, but I just want to say that I am so grateful to be a part of this group. It has blessed me so much. What group is that?
Yeah, no problem, sister. We're glad to have you here. And you are definitely in our prayers as well, truly.
I thank you guys so much. so much. It's been definitely a beautiful thing to be able to learn from you guys.
All praise the Most High Yahuah. Yeah, no, thank you, sister. Thank you.
So lovely to hear your voice, Kat. Thank you for saying that too.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. It's definitely this last year has been really hard for me, and to have other people that are seeking the truth and diving deep into things the way I have been is such a blessing. Such a blessing. And I've got my little 7-year-old that actually she's been going to school and telling people that God's name is not God, it's Yahuah. And I'm in awe. I really am in such awe at what he's done over this last year. I mean, the enemy has attacked me so heavily, but he just stands up every time, and just we fight back with such power. It's been amazing.
Love it. Thank you. And yeah, we definitely do all need each other, 100% Heidi. You know, it is very interesting that it's called the information age. You know, it's no coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence. That's what I believe.
I have a question, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know or if someone else might know, but you heard me read from Wisdom of Sirach, and it said the third tongue, or a third tongue, has driven out a virtuous woman, and it said a third tongue has shaken many and scattered them from nation to nation. What's a third tongue? I'm not familiar.
Interesting. Yeah. When you were saying that, I was just thinking in my head, maybe it's one of these unclean ruach that can cause us to speak and things like that, you know?
Okay. If anyone else can think if that might be it or whatever. I just don't understand a third tongue.
I wonder if it would have anything to do with maybe the way the Pentecostal church does with the speaking in tongues. I mean, I came from a Pentecostal church, so that kind of is what that made me think of. I don't know if that's actually it, but I mean, it's a possibility.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's speaking in tongues, like that's in scripture, and then there's the Pentecostal speaking in tongues. It's a bit different, but yeah, I mean, it could refer to that as well, you know, because we see the apostles were given the ability to speak tongues, which was just speaking the other languages of the nations that are around them. But yeah, I mean, it could have something to do with that. It's very interesting. I'll have to look into that more. You know, there's so many, so many things that get brought up that I want to study into so much deeper. Need to
If it
start
says
making
a
a.
third, if it says a third tongue, you think, well, what's the second tongue even? What's a second tongue? Let alone a third tongue. Like, I'm confused. Yeah.
I believe the tongues of angels is the Hebrew language and things like that as well. Because, well, Mashiach was there, so he definitely knew the true language, and you know, he spoke the language of the angels, I don't know. Maybe I should do a study about speaking in tongues and things like that, because I know it's a question some have had and some have brought up, and so maybe I should give my point of view and perspective on what it is as well, and of course use scripture to back it up. But maybe that's another something we can dig into.
That would be great, because when I was going to the Pentecostal church and I had what I thought was a prayer language, I did in some instances feel like a powerful spirit behind it. I don't know if it was the Holy Spirit or if it was a bad spirit, but I know that I was praying in my prayer language one time when I was praying, and I asked Father, I said, Father, if I am worshiping you in any wrong way, please right me, because I don't want to worship you in any way other than the way that I'm supposed to. And boy, that's when everything opened up for me. Like, I learned of his name. He started just downloading so much to me, and it was almost so much it was overwhelming at times. But I would love to explore that, because I do feel like maybe there was something to it, but I quit speaking in any type of prayer language tongue since, because I don't know for sure if that is something that is okay. So that was it was kind of hard for me at first, because I did feel so much power when I was praying in the spirit, was what I thought I was praying in the spirit, but it got kind of confusing to me afterwards.
Yeah, and man, too bad Miranda already had left. She's actually very knowledgeable about all that, because I think she'd mentioned something about her family grew up in Pentecostal or something.
Okay, maybe I can talk to her about it, because that was the church where it basically, going into that church is what saved my life. It got me to where I am today. Now, I no longer go back to the church, but it did. I feel like that was the beginning of my righteous walk.
Yeah, and we all got to start somewhere. Like I said before, I grew up in Catholicism, and here I am now. So no, maybe it's something I'll definitely try to get a study or something together. And yeah, I know Miranda knows some things about that as well. My view is, I know what the Pentecostals do is the incorrect way of doing it, for sure.
Correct.
Speaking, it's not about, convulsing on the floor and mumbling out a bunch of gibberish. There has to be an interpretation, and that's according to scriptures too. So if there's an interpretation, that means it's a language that's spoken. So if you want to go and pray like that in your prayer closet, that's fine. But doing it in public, that's totally different.
And that's what I had an issue with when I was in the church, is because I knew what scripture said. I knew that it said that you're not supposed to do that out in the open like that, because it confuses people, and it some people, it scares them away. And so that was something that really bothered me within the church itself, was that they would do that. Now, there was one time where they actually tried to do the interpretation and everything, but nobody was brave enough to stand up, and then that was what started kind of steering me away from it, was, if it was of the Father, how come there wasn't no interpretation? And so that was what started
Hold
me.
on, I think I lost connection.
Oh,
Telegram's been something else today.
I can still hear you. But yeah, I personally have been in lots of different denominations. So I've had the blessing of being able to see almost every different church type.
Yeah, no, it's that's quite the story. And honestly, it's been similar to me. I grew up Catholic. My dad, when I was a teenager, went to Mormonism. He tried to make me go there. My son's mother used to be a Jehovah's Witness. So, you know, all across the board there. Yeah, Catholic to Mormon to JW. It's
That's wild. That's really neat though, that we all have experienced all these different things. I think that was one of the only ones that I did not experience was the Jehovah's Witness. Now they did come to my door a few times, but I actually did not step into a Jehovah's Witness church.
yeah, no, they still come to your door, but yeah,
Oh
they
yeah,
still come to my door.
they definitely do.
And yeah, it was definitely a pendulum swing there, Sister Heidi. Yeah, it was quite the experience. But you know what? Without that experience, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I praise Yahuah for all of that. You know, in each one, I learned a little bit. And I learned a little bit about these different, well, secular organizations that they label themselves as religion. So, you know, people who are Catholics, I can be like, yeah, you know, I was a Catholic, and then explain like the reasons why it's no good. Mormonism, you know, my family is in that, well, from my dad's side. So I looked into that to try to help my dad and explain like, look, this, you know, it's Freemasonic Foundation, like all bad. But same thing with the JWs. You know, I was studying to become a JW, and I learned all about what they do. And, you know, none of them have the truth. There's some bits and truth, some bits and truth, bits and pieces of truth sprinkled in there. Sorry. Yeah, my dad was swayed. He started out Catholic as well. So, and then he met my stepmother. She was Mormon. So he decided to go study into that. And to this day, he's still Mormon. They're still together. Oh, was he swayed by my research? Unfortunately, no. So I was pointing all these things out to him, these different things, and he kind of took offense to it, like personal offense. And I was explaining like, hey, you know, I'm not attacking you personally, but, you know, what the religion that you claim, like, this is what they claim. And it didn't go well. So I was like, all right, you know, we can agree to disagree. Yeah, it really is. You know, I'm the only one in my whole family that actually follows Yahuah, that sees the truth. And it's not for lack of me trying to explain. I have one single stepbrother out of, you know, my parents, my siblings, all of that. One stepbrother who's interested in it, but isn't following it. Like, he knows about it. He knows, like, hey, yeah, the scripture says this, but he hasn't, like, committed and things like that. He's still, like, in the world. Yeah, my son. Yeah, this is very true as well. Yes, my son, Callan, raising him up in the way since he was 3 years old. Actually, Yahuah in Paleo Hebrew was, you know, the first thing he was able to write down, because I have the pictures and things like that all over of Yahuah. And he just took it and wrote it down one day. I actually have it saved somewhere, that piece of paper he wrote it on. And, you know, he's going to be 12 here next month. So, you know, he has quite the head start on me. So he knows scriptural cosmology. He knows a lot of scriptures. He knows all the festivals. He knows the evil signs that are out there to look for, you know, like the one eyes and the 666, you know, that all the celebrities and things like that flash. And I wanted to make sure he knew all this so that growing up, because, well, we are all in the world, but that he would recognize these signs and see like, oh, yeah, there's that sign. Stay away from it. And it's cool because every now and then we'll see the, those Elon Musk rocket launches. And, they don't go straight up. They go straight sideways. And then they make this kind of curve down into the ocean. And we were going for a walk one day, and there it was. You could see the launch. And he's like, so if space was real, wouldn't the rocket be going straight up, not sideways, not that way? I was like, yep, exactly. Awesome. You've been teaching Alea? I don't want to mispronounce it.
It's Alea. That's why I
Alea?
was saying I wish I had spelled it Allayah.
Oh, no worries. It's got it. Yeah, it's important to teach our children, really, and especially from a young age. I know many don't have that opportunity to do so, but, it's never too late. We can always be that example for our children and the rest of our family, and really just planting that seed is where it's at. If it doesn't take root, it's not our fault. Yeah, the best example is the best teacher. Yeah, speak truth even when they don't want to hear it. Exactly. So yeah, this world is crazy. It's a clown show that we live in. We can definitely see the signs of the times. Yeah, we did not have music from anybody today in here, unfortunately. I know Marissa did her presentation, so that was her excuse for not playing. Yeah, unless Tabitha wants to play a song before we close out here. Let's see, how long are we going for? Yeah, we still got like 45 minutes left of recording. Yeah, no worries, Tabitha. Yeah, I know we got several people in here who are very musically talented. Yeah, Heidi, that'd be awesome if you would like to play. I'd love to hear some songs, a song or two.
Yay, music.
Yeah, 3 minutes, no worries. You got it. And, we have several of us in here very musically talented. Dwayne, Marissa, Tabitha, Heidi. Am I missing anybody else? But yeah, it'd be awesome to all gather for Sukkot and just collaborate, play a song together. Yeah, James plays guitar too. Cool. I play the drums, although it's been quite some time since I have. Yeah, the guitar and the harp. Yeah, harp's a good one. No, I used to have a drum set a long time ago. It's been long gone. I've been thinking about maybe getting another one, just so I can join everybody with, playing. Yeah, bongos are cool too. Yeah, the bongos, even a tambourine. It's important. The tambourine, the cowbell. Yeah, Marissa has the box drum. Yeah, your mom plays tambourine. Yep. So yeah, no, the the musically talented, it's great. It's great to have. What is a biblical leader? That's a good question, Jermaine.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, we hear you, sister.
Okay, I don't have anything really prepared. It's been a long time since I played in a worship band, but I can play some improvised stuff and let the Ruach lead me.
I love it. It sounds like a plan. That works.
That's it.
It was beautiful. I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yada Yahuah.
Yada Yahuah. Absolutely. It's beautiful. I love it. I love the violin. Yeah. Thank you so very much, sister. And I'm sure many of us needed that. Very beautiful.
Oh no, was it not clear, Jermaine?
Yeah, there were some notes like because Telegram it's not a professional platform like for music, but there was just notes it would get like a certain pitch and we wouldn't be
Oh, I'm
able to hear it.
sorry.
No, it's
I
all
can try.
good.
I don't know if I use my computer for teaching, so I don't think it's probably the speaker on the computer. I could put my headphones in and see if that would work, but it's probably just Telegram.
Yeah, it's definitely Telegram. You know, it happens with everybody here. We try to someone tries to play a song or music, and it just Telegram. But yeah, no, it was very beautiful. I mean, sometimes on
Hi,
the recording, you'll be able to hear the whole song.
I'm just wondering if Heidi wouldn't mind maybe setting up a recording of that and then sending it into the Kodesh Music tab so we can hear it fully, because that was just so gorgeous. It'd be nice to hear it properly. Yeah.
Well, it was all improvised worship, but I can definitely record a different improvised worship. It probably won't come out the same, but I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, no worries, anything.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you, sister. Yeah, and improvisions are 100% welcome, always. For sure. Let the Ruach lead, yes. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. You know, thank you for playing the beautiful music for us. Thank you all for being here and fellowshipping today. You know, thank you, Marissa and Natalie, for the calendar presentation. It was amazing.
Thank you
And
guys for your time and for your love and for your fellowship.
yeah, no problem. Thank you all. You know, I am blessed and happy to have you all here, Miss Braha. And, you know, it really helps through my hard times. And I hope we are able to help those who are going through hard times as well. And it's good just to be with Mishpaha.
Marissa can play Shema.
Yeah, Marissa can play Shema. Putting her on the spot here.
No, I just happened to come back. I went and visited Michael for a little bit, and then I came back and you guys were still on, so we're about to eat dinner, but I was like, oh, let me play this real quick, just to end the fellowship today.
Perfect.
Love Him with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. Love Him with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. Shema Yasharel, Yahuah is our El. Shema Yasharel, Yahuah is one. Love Him with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. Love Him with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sister. Love it. Perfect song to end it off with. One of my favorites. Yeah, no, thank you all, Mishpaha. Thank you for all fellowshipping. Thank you for all your contributions, all your input. You know, I truly love fellowshipping together with each and every one of you. And truly a barakah to have Mishpaha here. And also, before I forget, tomorrow I have an interview about my book. And really quick, let me try and get the link for everybody here while I'm talking about it. So it's going to be tomorrow. Let's see here. I'll share the link. And it's on the Way Remnant channel. And, oh, there it is right there. You already got it. Thank you, Tabitha. And so that's tomorrow. I know it's like 5 in the afternoon for me, and I'm in Arizona. So it'd be like 7 Central, 8 Eastern. But yeah, that'll be tomorrow. We'll be talking about my book, the Dead Sea Scrolls, all of these connections. So all praise to the Most High, Yahuah. You know, it's only because of him that any of us really know anything. It's only because of him that we were able to come together, study these things out, and put aside our differences and figure out the calendar. You know, it was very important for many of us. And as you can see, Yahuah is just taking it from there, and it gets deeper and deeper. And then to understand these connections about like the calendar, the fingerprint of Yahuah himself, cymatics, all these different things, is you start understanding these deeper connections in Scripture. And it's truly only because of all of you coming together that we figured this out. I can't tell how thankful enough I am, honestly. I'm stumbling over my words here. I don't have the words to describe how thankful I am. But anyways, thank you all for joining. I pray you all have a blessed rest of your Shabbats. And we will see you all. Hopefully, I'll see some of you there tomorrow on the live. And if not, we have our midweek midrash on Saturdays. And until then, I pray you all have a blessed rest of your days, evenings, weeks, wherever you're at. And we will see you soon. And Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha.